responsibilities. Just watching the White Sox pile up 100 losses. An incredibly difficult decision for me to make because they are both talented individuals with long-term relationships at the Sox, said Reinsdorf. Ken is like a son to me, and I will always consider him a member of my family. Maybe a conservatorship. I want to personally thank Ken and Rick for all they've done for the White Sox, winning the 2005 World Series. Yes, memories.
Yeah, from 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us all morning long on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
And in the Daily Ward there, the most recent feudal lord is older human named Nicole Lee. She said that, I mean, at least I'll give her this much credit. She's making the right overtures, unlike what Triple Threat did when she said they should just focus on beating the Packers. And then, so she's making the right overtures here, but still. Determined to keep the Sox in Chicago and in the ward. And everything.
Don't you be eyeballing other wards.
Everything should be on the table except for demolishing the G spot.
I hate when you call it that.
Why?
I don't know. It's,
That's what
it's
everybody
like
calls it
moist
now.
or those certain words I don't like.
Everybody calls it the G spot
Because
now.
you started that years ago.
Yeah, you cute. And so clearly.
Okay, so she doesn't want the G spot to be torn down.
No.
But do they use it for other? They're saying on the news yesterday that they use it for other events. What events? Are there concerts there? I
think there have been. I don't.
I think Joel Olstein was there once.
Yeah,
years ago.
maybe.
Remember that?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even pay that much attention to the Sox anymore. I'm sad to say, but that's the way it is. And of course, she used a sports analogy. Which you know my policy on that.
No one can use a sports analogy except for you
when it comes to politics
You're
or
right.
policy. We're in the first inning of this. We've got a lot of games left to play.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, Reinsdorf too. You know, I mean, by the way, my this is a long time coming, getting rid of Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn, but now Reinsdorf needs to be relieved of his duties. We'll see if that happens.
Well, isn't he in his late 80s?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's in 80s, maybe early 80s. I don't know. But it's interesting too because little known fact, and I don't remember. I'd have to look this up, all the details on this. But they leased the stadium, right?
Right.
But Reinsdorf owns a lot of the surrounding land.
Oh, I did not know that.
Like personally, it was a hanky deal that Governor Thompson cut with the White Sox back in the day, and I'm a complete opponent of taxpayer funding of private franchise stadia. So I'm not pushing for the White Sox to get any cash, and if they want to leave, if they want to go to Addison or Ryan Field, my suggestion. Then that's up to them. Or Sarasota or St. Pete's or wherever.
Or Nashville.
But I don't think Chicago taxpayers should be on the hook for it, even if these aldermen do. Because here's the thing: this is what's interesting about this too, from a larger regional public policy perspective. All these Dem socialist politicians, right? They're always trying to hit the public works grand slam. Let's get some big, what we call economic engine that relieves us of the duty to make this a hospitable place to do business. So this is the Piatone Airport gambit that's been on the go for 3 decades. This is, build a sports stadium or get a sports team, get another one. They never want to focus on just sort of the rules of the game that make this an attractive place to do business, to start a business that could grow into a big business. It's always about some sort of public-private partnership. We want to be at the table for this and for that, so we can claim victory. We brought this in using your money. You're not at the table. And look at all the jobs and the economic activity that's thrown off by this thing. But they never net it out for you because a lot of these times, most of these times, if you look at the research, they're losing deals for the taxpayers. But it doesn't matter to them because number one, politicians, we're at the table and we brought this or we saved this and look at all these benefits. We don't talk about costs. And And then again, then if I want to go raise taxes, if I want to defund the police, if I want to do all the terrible things, if I want to make it a sanctuary city, if I want to do all these terrible things, hey, don't get on my case here. Look, I brought you Comiskey Park. I brought you the G Spot. Look at all the jobs and blah blah blah. That's the one of the scams that these feudal lords in Chicago and kleptocrats generally run. And so we'll see if Jerry Reinsdorf is able to get them to run another one on Chicago residents again.
But so they opened the stadium in 1991 after a $137 million construction project. Dan, taxpayers still owe $50 million on the bond issues.
There you go. My point.
Yeah.
My point exactly.
Where's that money? Okay, going to come from.
So, anyway, I know it sucks.
Taxpayers are still on the hook 30 years later.
It's more interesting, just like Jerry Reinsdorf is doing. It's more interesting. It's more fun to live in the past when it comes to the White Sox or Chicago generally. Let's recall 2005, like we did yesterday. Let's recall all the White Sox players of the past on the teams that we enjoy. There's not that many of them, but there are some, sure, because the present ain't so rosy.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
My son was saying, Mom, why are you paying so much for this? The supplement store has the exact same thing. And I said, no, they don't. Because he was telling me that they have similar products as Balance of Nature. But then when he came over to my house and he looked at the label of the Balance of Nature about all the, ingredients and everything, he realized, oh yeah, this is a superior product.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
You listen to this station, so you know who John Stossel is. Want to meet him? John Stossel is the featured speaker at the Heartland Institute's annual benefit dinner on Friday, September 8th at the Marriott Chicago O'Hare Hotel. He's one of the few libertarians to ever rise to the top of American media, and boy does he have some stories to tell. A veteran of ABC's 2020 and the Fox Business Channel, Stossel has won 19 Emmys and a Peabody Award, and he has used his influence to effectively push back against government overreach. You're going to want to hear his tales from the front lines. We are also honoring former Illinois State Representative Jeannie Ives with the prestigious 2023 Heartland Liberty Prize. Join her, John Stossel, listeners of this station, and hundreds of lovers of liberty on Friday, September 8th. Don't miss the Heartland Institute's annual benefit dinner at the Marriott Chicago O'Hare Hotel for a night you will not forget. For tickets, call 312-377-4000 or visit heartland.org. That's heartland.org. We'll see you with John Stossel and Jeannie Ives.
Tune into Protect and Grow with Tim Stearns every Saturday at noon on AM 560 The Answer. Certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns holds weekly discussions of the financial challenges to a secure retirement. Learn about planning strategies and solutions that proactive investors utilize to help make continued progress toward retirement goals. Call with questions at 800-640-2256 or visit tjstearns.com. Protect and Grow with Tim Stearns, Saturdays at noon, here on AM 560 The Answer.
Ask any old football player or fan, and they'll tell you offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Sean Thompson here, and you know who else knows that. It's Tom Fortino of Alpha Wealth Group. He knows winning doesn't just happen. It's a result of having a good coach who draws up the right strategy and then makes adjustments along the way. So think of Tom as your retirement defensive coordinator, protecting your retirement savings against inflation, market loss, or a pick six from Uncle Sam. With Tom's complimentary retirement roadmap, you'll find out what's working in your game plan or what's not. If you're serious about winning in retirement, call 630-934-1855. Ask for the retirement roadmap. That's 630-934-1855. 1-855, or find Tom online at alphawealthgroup.com and listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour right here on AM 560 The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, RWA, an SEC registered investment advisor. RWA and Alpha Wealth Group are independent of each other. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
Now is the best time to drive home in your next Mazda. During the Season of Discovery sales event, you'll get the biggest savings on a new or pre-owned Mazda. And what you see is what you pay. With limited time sales going on right now, there's no better time to buy at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Lease a 2023 Mazda CX-30 for $249 per month, or a 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $399 a month for 36 months with approved credit through Mazda Capital Services for qualified buyers. Just add license, title, tax, and $324 dock fee. Plus, stop in today and ask about the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90. And to keep your Mazda running great all year round, schedule your next service appointment right online at WilkinsMazdaCars.com. Wilkins Mazda, conveniently located in Elmhurst off of York Road and 290, just minutes from Oak Brook, downtown, and Schaumburg. Experience the next level of excellence at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Visit WilkinsMazdaCars.com. See dealer for details.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
They're doing it again. Mask mandates and other COVIDian gambits on the return, 538.
And let's cancel life because it's going to be hot the next 2 days. Now let's head into the newsroom. Nikki Whaley in once again for Mike Scott. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning. It's 77 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is giving a talk this week on the U.S. economic outlook. Powell will deliver a speech Friday morning from the annual Central Bankers meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The Fed chair is expected to give his latest views on whether more policy tightening will be needed to bring down inflation during a time of strong economic growth. Chicago native Ed Siskel's headed back to the White House. President Biden announced that Siskel will serve as the White House counsel beginning next month, replacing Stuart Dellery. Siskel served for nearly 4 years in the White House counsel's office during the Obama-Biden administration, including deputy counsel. He also served 10 years as Chicago's corporate counsel under former mayor Rahm Emanuel. News is a service of Salem Surround, providing your business with industry-leading digital marketing strategy designed to surround your target audience and drive action. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Tonight, the Republican candidates for president will debate for the first time, and AM 560 has extended coverage beginning at 4 p.m. with The Sean Thompson Show, followed at 7 by Debate Night in America with Bruce DeMont, along with John Anthony and Mike Coolidge in studio, and joined by Jeannie Ives live from the Debate Hall in Milwaukee. Then, hear the debate live at 8 p.m., followed by post-debate reaction and analysis right here on Chicago's election station, AM 560, The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson, and I'm proud to tell you about the great work of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, a new partner of ours here at AM 560. Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. When a first responder or military service member doesn't come home and young children are left behind, Tunnel to Towers pays the mortgage on the family home to lift the financial burden and bring stability. For catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, Tunnel to Towers builds mortgage-free smart homes, giving our most severely injured heroes the ability to live more independent lives. You can help America's heroes and their families by supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation when you make a small donation of just $11 a month. Go to T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org. T2T.org.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. double. Medishare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Accidents cleared on the Kennedy eastbound before Addison Street. We do have crews working on the Kennedy. 2 lanes are blocked eastbound between Montrose out to Ohio Street, and road crews have a left lane blocked Eisenhower eastbound between Morgan Street and Congress Parkway. Traffic is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and The Sean Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today, 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow, the high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It's like that that old Garcia Vega commercial. He's doing it again. They're doing it again. The COVIDians are doing it again in places like Morris Brown College in Atlanta.
Oh, Dan, it's just 2 weeks.
This is not just 2 weeks to stop the spread because there's no cases there.
I know, but they wrote in there that it's just for 2 weeks.
Announced a mask mandate Sunday in a letter to faculty, staff, and students. The college citing reports of positive cases among the students at the Atlanta University Center. However, Morrisbound President Kevin James told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in an email Monday the college has received no reports of cases on its own campus yet. But, of course, say it with me, out of an abundance of caution, they want to take this precautionary measure.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
What are you going to do if the mandates come back for you? Give us a call, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line. This is happening again. We were fooled once. Are we going to be fooled twice? By the way, Biden administration, I mean, this is just a quick snapshot of the last few days. Biden administration is going to urge people to get a booster this fall ahead of a new wave of infections they claim is coming. Hollywood leading the way. Lionsgate requiring employees who physically work at its headquarters in Santa Monica to wear masks at all times when in the buildings, effective immediately. They're also requiring employees to submit to daily COVID testing and to report the results to the company. Dozens of colleges go on.
Well,
this is deja vu all over again, to quote the great Yogi Berra. A website that tracks COVID-related mandates on college campuses. No College Mandates is the name of that website. More than 60 universities require a COVID-19 vaccine to attend, including Harvard, Rutgers, and Johns Hopkins.
I have a friend
that's still going on.
Yeah, I have a friend who just sent her son off to University of Michigan and had to get an apartment for him because he doesn't have a booster shot. They want boosters at certain Big Ten schools. in order to live, in group settings like dorms.
And what
they said, no, we're not doing it, so they rented an apartment.
And what do we know about the lethality of COVID and whatever variant we're on, particularly as it pertains to the young? Doesn't matter. And we were talking when states were, the last holdouts were finally giving in to saying that the pandemic is over and the emergency measures are not in effect. And then the declaration from the Biden administration to the same effect, saying, oh, now it's time for COVID amnesty. Yeah, there were some scary moments and maybe there was some less than valorous behavior by some, but we didn't know, and as we learned, and some mistakes were made, and maybe we should have done this, but now let's just all come together and put that ugliness behind us, and yet here we go again, restarting the ugliness.
And I have a mask. I mean, obviously, I was a masker. I don't think I ever saw you once wearing a mask. Oh, no, you wore that, the Bane, what was that? That black thing, that scary.
Oh, the Bane mask from Batman. That was fun. I had to a couple of times.
When
a
you
few
flew.
times on planes, but other than that, no, it's pretty resistant to the COVID orthodoxy that was imposed. But what if vax mandates, booster mandates come back at your employer? Could happen. You don't think corporate America will want to, fall in line with the Biden administration? And, maybe it starts off like it is now, encouraging. We encourage you to get the booster, but you know how quickly encouragement turns into force when the government is the encouraging party, don't you?
I remember seeing,
what's happening at CPS right now.
CPS, we haven't gotten anything, which is surprising me. The only thing we've gotten is that if you come back from, if you're sick with COVID, when you come back, we strongly urge you to wear a mask from day 6 to 10. They did let us know that you are no longer sick days. If you were sick with COVID, it wouldn't count against your sick days. So you'd still bank all that time. But they never even, so a teacher was out, a week before spring break. They never checked to see if they had COVID. They just took them for their word, saying that they have it. But nothing so far, but I'm just waiting. What we're doing now is I feel like we're going through COVID all over again because school's being canceled. People are going, they're Zooming today and tomorrow or have a late start or early dismissal because of the heat. When we were kids, did we factor in the heat factor or the heat index? Nobody even knew what the heat index was. All sports canceled for CPS, all outdoor sports. And indoor sports, you have to have a thermometer. And if it gets above 90 degrees, you have to stop and send everybody home.
Sure. But
cross country,
we're very concerned with a couple of days of 95-degree heat in Chicago as it pertains to kids and sports. We're not very concerned as it pertains to kids and sports with the incidence of myocarditis among young male athletes related to the vaccine. We're not concerned about that because we're going to be making these blanket recommendations to get your boosters and put your masks on. We're not concerned about, the negative health effects of masks, particularly how they're actually worn in reality, how it actually works in reality as opposed to sort of the sanitized, woozy dreamland where everybody has an N95 mask that they regularly clean on the half hour. I mean, it's just the whole thing. So we're very concerned, except when we're not concerned. We're very concerned when it is overreach to, under the auspices of safety, to lord over. But we're not very concerned when it actually the impact of the mandates is what the problem is.
So we don't have snow days anymore. We have heat days. And these cooling centers that they're opening today and tomorrow, to get into one, you have to have a mask on. And if you don't have one, they will provide one for you. So you're out in the heat, you're hot, you want to breathe, and you go into a cooling center and you have to slap a mask on your face? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro to answer line. But listen, too, Catholic schools are caving. Catholic schools, early dismissal. No school on Thursday. They were the warriors during COVID.
Some of them were, some of them were not. Certainly Blaise Supich was no warrior during COVID.
No, but I'm saying a lot of the Catholic schools were open and they weren't teaching from the grave.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line, Ralph Rantoul.
All window dressing for getting remote balloting, fake ballots, stuff the ballot boxes. This is all about the Biden Democrat cheat getting set up.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
That's right.
George, Naperville.
I can't believe after all this, they're not letting us be in charge of our own health positions. The Republicans should be all over this. We're going to have to listen to clerks again and people we don't know. Put your mask up. I can't believe it's happening again.
Thanks for the call, George. Well, I mean, again, I said during the height of it, and we had an election or two, if COVIDian politicians don't pay with their offices, then of course it's going to happen again. It'll happen again with this virus, another virus, the climate apocalypse, a couple of days of hot weather. It will happen again and again and again because you're rewarded for it. That's the incentives that electorates provided to politicians in places like Illinois and Michigan and New York. They said, we're not going to hold you accountable for cratering our economy, shedding all these businesses that closed, the negative health and educational impacts on children who were largely insulated from any sort of serious illness, much less death when it came to COVID. We didn't, in the places where it matters, when the opportunities presented itself, the electorates in these various jurisdictions did not hold these COVIDian politicians accountable, did not remove them from office, and so you've encouraged them. And by the way, it's not just electeds. It's the corporate leadership. It's leadership of schools. If nobody gets held accountable for the sort of policies that they imposed during COVID, then why would you be surprised when they impose them again? Marvin, Burlington, Wisconsin.
Good morning. I think this is not just in time for the 2023 election. Get it started, get it ramped up. It's also a bureaucratic tool. They saw, like you say, just how far they could take it before. They're going to see how much further they can take it again. And it's a way for them to reshape America because they saw how far and how much they've gained over the last farce. And it's really a shame that the American people aren't smart enough to wake up and realize what this all is. I mean, it's really astounding.
And in some places they are, and in some places they're not. I mean, it's, you know, the flip side of that is to say, well, in Florida, for example, not the only example, but certainly comes top of mind, particularly since he's running for president. DeSantis was rewarded by the electorate for what he did. On the, you know, the flip side of Newsom or Pritzker or Hochul or Whitmer, there was DeSantis and some others, South Carolina, Texas politicians that may not have been as fast on the draw as they should have been. Were pretty fast, almost as fast as DeSantis on some of these mandates. But DeSantis rewarded, so in some places they get it, and so you won't see it. It will have this the same thing that we had during COVID. It's going to be happening where the left has command control of an institution or a city or a state, and it won't happen where they don't.
I mean, we got to all
Civil
stick
War.
together. I mean, everyone has to resist this time around. Because if we give them an inch, I mean, obviously
Everyone has to resist. I mean, you're the one commenting, you know, over the first half of this year, how many people walking around Chicago still had masks on when nobody was telling them to do anything?
And they still,
right?
I mean, my God,
how many masks do you see at O'Hare or Midway as compared to other major airports around the country?
You don't see any in St. George. I have to tell you, I have a new thing now because when I see people walking alone by themselves outside with masks on or riding their bike with a mask on, I roll down the window now and guess what I do? Thank you for your service. You're saving lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I'll probably get shot doing that someday, but it's the only way I can. I'm so mad because people like them put our kids in our house for 2 years.
You don't have to worry about getting shot. They will not pick up on the sarcasm. John in Naperville.
Yeah, you know what? I did look at the stats for the mortality rate of COVID, and I have to say this is with an asterisk in my mind. It's less than 1%. And the reason I say an asterisk is how many hospitals were rewarded for overinflating those numbers. I got killed in a motorcycle accident. I happen to test positive for COVID. It's a COVID death. And also nowadays we have therapeutics. So I would estimate just conservatively that the mortality rate is way less than 1%. Way less than 1%.
Well, it is. It is less than 1%. Yeah. Thanks for the call, John. I mean, it's more like what many predicted it would be, like 0.2%, like a bad season of the flu.
Yeah. But there are these new variants that they're scaring. Are you ready? EG.5. Anyone hear that? FL1.5.1 and BA2.86. They're spreading.
Isn't that the bumper bracket number on a 64 Volvo? Or am I? Yeah, you're going to.
That's what they want us to do.
A cheat sheet.
Dr. Awarde, before she got canned, said don't get a booster now. Wait until the end of September before you get your booster, because they're working on this, this new shot to make sure it works against this newest variant.
By the way, that woman who replaced Arwadi, the Firketi Waga,
not a doctor.
They keep saying Dr. Waga.
She's not a medical doctor. She's like Dr. Jill Biden.
She's not even like Dr. Jill Biden. She's got a BA from Michigan and a master's in public health from UIC.
She's not a doctor.
When does a master's, even under the whole PhD thing, calling everybody doctor's got a PhD, which of course I reject. How is anybody calling her a doctor if she just has a master's in public health? Is she a doctor like Dr. J is a doctor?
Oh, and you know what? That's a good question, and I will ask.
Is she a doctor like Dr. K,
like
Dwight Gooden?
Dr. Pepper?
Was a doctor like Dr. Pepper is a doctor? Well, I don't.
Yeah, that's another farce. This is all a big lie. But she fits, she checks the boxes. Why not just get Dr. Ezike back to be the Chicago Public Health Director?
Carl, Marionette Park.
Well, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to make a comment, Dan and Amy, that when this PERS law goes into effect, there's going to be plenty of room in jail cells for people who are not compliant by wearing a mask, and they're going to be taken to jail. And this is, Amy, what you said about everybody should resist, I agree with you 100%. But unfortunately, I see Illinois is the land of Lincoln. Excuse me, it is the land of Lincoln, but it's the land of zombies. Because half these people don't have any idea what's going on in the state or the city or anywhere in the country. And that's my comment. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Bye.
Thank you for the call.
I don't think I could physically put a mask on my face ever again. Could you? I know Justin can't, because Justin's not doing it. I remember sitting on a plane once going to Hawaii because the flights were really cheap, and the lady next to me said, "Come on already." And I said, "What?" She, "Put the mask on." And I was like, "Can you mind your own business?" Mm-hmm. And she said she was going to call over the flight attendant if I didn't put my mask on. She was I made her feel very uncomfortable.
Could you have masks on planes again? Sure, you could. I mean, look at the failure of Republicans, even House Republicans. Many of them, not all of them, because Mary Miller is the one who submitted the amendment. Republican from Illinois, Southern Illinois, of course. There are no Republicans north of I-80. Republicans failed to push to reinstate pilots who were fired for refusing to comply with the COVID vax mandate.
Republicans, again, Burgess Owens and LaHood.
Again, there were no when you don't deliver a rebuke to people who've done wrong, what do you think you're going to get?
Oh, and real quick, can I finish my Hawaii story? I said everybody got a specific test to get into Hawaii. So I told her there's nobody on this plane that has COVID, and when we land, they're going to test us again. But she didn't care.
Yeah,
if it saves one life.
Yeah, I don't think you're understanding where they're coming from. Like which is sort of a recurring problem. You think like you're going to first of all, you're starting from the premise that any of those mandates were appropriate. Oh, don't worry because they did this and they that. all of this is nonsense, and you're a lunatic, and you have no basis in your position has no basis in reality. This is all performative to your it's the appearance of giving you the feeling of the appearance of safety for the purposes of making sure you understand what your relationship is to the state. That's the conversation. You don't start from the premises that anything along those lines that was done was appropriate. Oh, they're going to test us. They're going to do this. All of it's illegitimate. Bob, Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. Someone's having a big gathering tonight, aren't they? And I'm wondering if they're going to be passing out masks.
Yeah, right.
Could it be a super spreader?
Just kidding.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for the call, Bob.
Could it be a super spreader?
No masks at the debate watching party in Schaumburg tonight. Paul and Carrie.
Yeah, I just want to point out, we went through this before. Everybody's saying, oh, not this time. I'm not going to abide this time. Well, what happened to the wave, quote unquote, the wave last time when we said we weren't going to do it with the masks, the mandates, the CRTs, everything that was going on? What happened then with the wave? If they said wear your mask, you're going to be a good little boy and you're going to put it on again. That's Illinois.
Thanks, Paul. Frank, Board of Trade.
Yeah, she's a witch doctor, part of the new tribal Chicago.
Oh, the new quote unquote doctor who's got a master's in public health.
Yeah, the one with the unpronounceable name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. What is it?
Fakerte Magao.
Fakerte Magao.
Yeah, right.
Fakerte Magao.
Johan Gesicki, the former state epidemiologist for the country of Sweden, who is a consultant to the WHO. April of 2020. I played this intermittently over the course of the last 3 years. Let's do it again.
Please.
Since we're on the cusp of being in the same place we were in April of 2020. Not quite on the cusp, but we're walking down that path again. Johan Gesicki on all of the mitigations that were, they didn't have to be even mandated because they were so quickly adopted culturally. Idiot circles, 6 feet apart, masks, so on and so forth.
Wash your hands. If another politician told me to wash my hands, I was going to tear my spleen out with a rusty spoon.
Gesicki, April of 2020, at the height of the hysteria and associated ignorance.
The main reason is that we, or the Swedish government, decided early in January that the measures we should take against the pandemic should be evidence-based. And when you start looking around for the measures that are being taken now by different countries, you find that very few of them have the shred of evidence base. But one we know that's known for 150 years or more, and that is washing your hands is good for you and good for others when you're in an epidemic. But the rest, like border closures, school closures, social distancing, there's almost no science behind most of these.
Yeah. This just in, the COVIDian politicians weren't following the science and data, and they're still not.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Inflation has caused many of us to use our credit cards more than usual. Having large credit card balances at interest rates at or near 20% is difficult to manage, on top of the fact that making minimum monthly payments is a path to financial disaster. So how about taking out a fixed second mortgage or a home equity line of credit to tap into your home's equity and pay off those high interest rate credit cards while keeping intact your current first mortgage, which is probably in the 3% range. Home values are at very high levels, but may not stay that high for long. So now is the time to give Townstone a call so we can provide you with a free debt consolidation consultation at 312-896-2110. And if you're looking to buy a home, Townstone has programs for first-time home buyers, self-employed borrowers, and individuals with less than stellar credit, as well as those with perfect credit and a large down payment. And remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll preview tonight's debate and maybe even the debate watching party too. 6:06.
It is now 6 a.m. and you're listening to WIND Chicago.
A chance to make their case. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The first Republican presidential primary debates tonight, hosted by Fox. Fox's Jared Halpern in Milwaukee with the preview.
The 8 candidates who qualified won't have opening statements. Instead, they each have 1 minute to answer questions, 30 seconds to respond to follow-ups, and 45 seconds for a closing statement. Positions on the stage were determined by polling, with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy at the center podiums. Fox News anchors Brett Baer and Martha McCallum are moderating, with the goal of ensuring every candidate has an opportunity to answer questions and respond to others.
And Fox News Radio will be providing special coverage of the first Republican primary debate beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can listen at foxnewsradio.com. A witness in the federal classified documents case against former President Trump has retracted earlier testimony and implicated the former president, according to a court filing from federal prosecutors. The filing is about potential conflicts of interest for an attorney representing Trump aide Walter Nauta. It says that this witness, confirmed by Fox as a Mar-a-Lago tech worker, changed his story after switching attorneys. He had said he could not recall any conversations about deleting security camera video. UPS workers approve a new contract with better pay and working conditions.
A Teamsters union statement says 86% of the rank and file voted in favor of the contract. That's said to be the highest vote for approval of a deal by Teamsters at United Parcel Service ever. A difficult negotiation put UPS workers on the brink of walking picket lines, but shortly before the end of July, the sides announced the deal that had to get workers' support. Members have been voting since August 3rd.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Some parts of South Texas could end up with up to 7 inches of rain from what was Tropical Storm Harold, now crossing over northern Mexico, a weaker storm. Tropical Storm Franklin is near the Dominican Republic. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 77 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Republican presidential candidates will face off on a debate stage in Milwaukee tonight. 8 candidates will participate in the first debate of the 2024 presidential primary, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former Vice President Mike Pence, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. The event is hosted by Fox News, but however will be without the party's frontrunner, Donald Trump. Closing arguments are expected to begin today in the perjury trial of the longtime chief of staff of former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan. Timothy Mapes is accused of lying to a grand jury in the federal probe that led to Madigan's indictment last year in a racketeering case. Mapes served as Madigan's chief of staff from 91 until June of 2018, when he was ousted following allegations of harassment. His lawyers have rested their case after calling 4 witnesses. Mapes decided to waive his right to testify in his own defense. Temperatures are continuing to climb in the Chicago area. The National Weather Service says that temps could reach the upper 90s with heat index values as high as between 110 up all the way up to 115. There'll be an excessive heat warning in effect from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. The heat will lead to hazardous conditions, particularly for the elderly and those with pre-existing health conditions. The city of Chicago has opened a number of cooling centers. News is brought to you by the Pride Stores, with 17 locations throughout Chicagoland that include Taco Urbano or Urban Counter restaurants. Stop by their newest location, the Pride in Kane County in St. Charles, on the corner of Kirk and Main. The Pride Stores, not your typical convenience stores. Check out the roadways coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
If you listen to the mainstream media and the Democrats, you'd think it was a sin to be black and conservative. Well, John Anthony blows up that perception every week on Black and Right. Join John this Saturday afternoon at 4 when he pushes back against the left and its progressive agenda that tries to dictate how people should think or feel about politics. Listen to Black and Right this Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Less money for the exact same thing. Hope this is clear enough. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, they're here to answer. Switch today and get a second month of service for free. Go to consumercellular.com/free month and enter promo code free month. Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 gigabyte data plan and unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023. Promotion subject to terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I've had a high energy level every day, and I've just been doing great. And I just feel like it's a definite advantage to take them. Let me just say one other thing. I mentioned to my doctor that I was taking Balance of Nature, and they said they were very positive about that. And they said that was really good. That's a good product. And so I've been very pleased.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Quite a bit of delays from an earlier accident involving a rollover, 57 northbound before 170th Street. That's got you about a 20-minute backup through there. Seeing some delays on the Edens as you move in. Starting to see traffic build on 55 to Stevenson, and a little bit slow on the Eisenhower. News is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7. You can now enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock, all day, every day, including daily replays of Chicago's Morning Answer. Listen now at danandamy247.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today, 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow. The high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. All right, tonight is the inaugural 2024 Republican presidential candidate debate up there in Milwaukee. Our friend Jeannie Ives is going to be there. We're going to talk to her tomorrow when we do the post-mortem, but let's do the pre-mortem right now. Who are you particularly interested to hear from? What issue are you particularly interested to hear the candidates bat about? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I'm really thinking that this is Governor DeSantis's night, and if he doesn't hit a home run here, it's over. I mean, I'm looking to hear from him, from Nikki Haley, actually all of the candidates. I want to see what they stand for, and obviously the economy is the biggest issue for most Americans. But I want to hear the reaction to all these indictments against President Trump. I don't want it to turn into a Trump bashing, which Chris Christie is going to do. But I can't wait. It's going to be 2 hours. And again, they begin the debate with, 1 minute comment, introduce themselves. And I don't know, who are you looking forward to hearing from?
Well, it's going to be interesting, the contrasting styles, because on the one hand, you have, the bloviating Chris Christie. Perhaps on the other end of the spectrum, you have the gentlemanly Tim Scott. Tim Scott was on with Martha McCallum on Fox yesterday to preview his approach to the debate. And it's, Tim Scott is taking the posture, which is consistent with his persona and how he's conducted himself as a member of Congress. He's going the city on the hill approach. He's spending a lot of time talking about hope and his pride in this country. It's interesting. It's really, really not providing much edginess, and one wonders where Tim Scott will offer something more than this. I'm not saying this isn't part of the message, but what he offered McCallum, I don't know. I don't know if you can get away with just this appeal to our better angels in this time.
Mostly spending time studying, of course, but also in prayer, hanging out with family, and just really enjoying how blessed it is to be an American. I'm so proud to be an American. I think back to the kid who's growing up in poverty in a single-parent household, and now I'm running for president of the United States. Right? Only possible in America. Yeah, it's a great story. I'm going to tell my story about why I believe that America can do for anyone what she's done for me. We're going to focus on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting the America that we all love.
What about landing punches on DeSantis?
We're going to focus on our message and worry about the other candidates another time.
Won't take the bait.
No, good for him.
Hope, growth, and opportunity. That's Tim Scott's lane. Well, that's the lane he wants to own. Maybe. But there's just a lot of issues. I mean, and he pivots when he talks about issues to contrasting his view from Biden's policies. But he is really reluctant to go after any of the candidates. So whether it's, and particularly those that are significantly ahead of him, starting with Trump and to a lesser extent DeSantis.
Do you think this is do or die night for DeSantis?
I don't know about do or die. I think he has to generate some enthusiasm for his candidacy tonight. So what that exactly entails, and does he need to be the consensus victor or something like that? This should be a pretty good format for DeSantis because, as I said before, I mean, he has command of the issues. He makes arguments. He connects dots. He is an explainer. Here's the accusation, or here's the problem. Here's my response to it with some contextual information. I mean, he's a smart guy, and he's very good at this, and he's been doing it for a while now, so I would expect him to perform pretty well. All of this talk about, likability, and he has to be nice, this is something that was invented to put on DeSantis by the D.C. press corps that wants to muddy him up, not quite as much as Trump, but almost as much as Trump, just on the off chance that somehow he was able to gain traction and depose Trump as the nominee. So this is why. Oh, you heard, attendant to his announcement. He's even more of a fascist than Trump is. Oh, the hysteria, don't say gay, all of the things that they've done to try to spin away the record DeSantis has compiled as governor of Florida and how well Florida is doing under DeSantis and Republican governance. They want you to think that Florida is some, hillbilly backwater when Florida is a jobs and wealth magnet right now.
Yeah, and they have this thing called a budget surplus.
Right. So, I mean, the D.C. press corps can pound on more than one Republican at a time. They want Trump to be the nominee, so that's another incentive for them to beat up on DeSantis to make sure that there's sort of no golden boy that emerges as the clear alternative to Trump, and it's more of a muddled situation that should benefit Trump with as many candidates as they are. They probably didn't see Vivek Ramaswamy coming. No. And now they're trying to muddy him up, too, to my point. Vivek Ramaswamy getting a little traction, getting a little buzz, some enthusiasm. And and this is a mistake DeSantis made, which I've been saying for weeks, when he was dark, when DeSantis was like not doing cable news interviews, he wasn't ubiquitous like he should be, sparring with the press like he did so effectively as governor, has done so effectively as governor. It's not past tense, it's present tense, putting them in their place. This is one of the things that Republican primary voters want to see. Not only want to see, love to see somebody giving the what for to, anyone on the primetime lineup at CNN and MSNBC. Ramaswamy's benefited by doing exactly that, and he had another moment yesterday.
Oh, good. What?
With the noxious Caitlin Collins on CNN, where now they're trying to. You've probably seen this. The Atlantic has done it. Other outlets are doing it. Ramaswamy is some sort of 9/11 truther. Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh, he's a smooth talker, but he's a conspiracy theorist. He's a nut. If you're smart like DeSantis or Ramaswamy, then the D.C. press corps is going to paint you as a conspiracy theorist or a fascist.
Jones lover. Yeah.
Ron DeSantis is smart, but he's evil. He's not stupid, but he's evil. Vivek Ramaswamy, not stupid, but he's a kook. This is the same thing they did to. I mean, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Remember Dr. Ben Carson, because he was a Seventh-day Adventist, was some religious extremist. The gifted hands, Dr. Ben Carson, this renowned surgeon. No, but he's a religious extremist now. You can't. Anybody that gets any traction that could presents the Republican Party as it actually is, with a party that features a lot of smart, talented people of all walks of life, races, and creeds. Oh no. Especially if it's not. Honky, no. We can't let you get away with that, says the D.C. press corps. So that's what Caitlin Collins tried with Ramaswamy yesterday. You're a 9/11 truther.
Vivek, give another comment that you've made that is getting attention today about 9/11. A report in The Atlantic that you gave an interview to, you said, quote, I think it is legitimate to say how many federal agents were on the planes that hit the Twin Towers. Maybe the answer is zero. It probably is zero for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than zero, but if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, we have a 9/11 commission. Absolutely, there should be an answer the public knows the answer to. Explain to me what you meant there.
This is really, it's funny. I mean, The Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field, and we deserve to know who they are. On 9/11, what I've said is that the government lied. And this is incontrovertible evidence, Caitlin. The government lied about Saudi Arabia's involvement. There was a Saudi spy named al-Bayoumi who they lied, and the government lied, and the 9/11 Commission lied. We know that because declassified reports in 2021 revealed that al-Bayoumi was indeed. What's that?
Yeah, the report that President Biden declassified.
Yes.
But your quote here, are you telling me that the quote is wrong
20 years later,
here?
yeah.
But are you telling me that your quote is wrong here because it says how many federal agents were on the planes at the Twin Towers?
Yeah, when I actually, and this is just lifting the curtain on how media works again, I asked that reporter to send the recording because it was on the record. He refused to do it. But we had a free-flowing conversation. The truth is there are lies the government has told about 9/11, but it's not the ones that somebody put in my mouth. It's the one that I articulated, which is that Saudi Arabia, absolutely, their intelligence was involved in 9/11. And that's a difficult thing you're not supposed to say. The facts back that up. Separately, as it relates to January 6th, same story all over again. There were federal agents in the field. I think they've lied about how many there were, and we, the people, deserve the truth, despite the layers of distortion that exist in the media to prevent us from getting it.
Yeah, right. He's right. 20 years later, you get a little bit of truth when when the politicians were public facing, they lied about Saudi involvement. Vivek Ramaswamy is exactly right about that. Exactly right about that. And we're seeing it repeated because here we go again. What happened to all those politicians who lied to the American people, knowingly lied? I don't know. I mean, it's more than 2 decades ago now. So some of them are still there. Some of them have gone on to enjoy retirement on your dime. Some of them are lobbyists and who knows what. Any real accountability for lying to the American people about the worst terrorist attack on American soil? No. Mm-mm. And Ramaswamy is channeling the exasperation that is attendant to examples of government malfeasance and treachery, like lying to the American people about what they came to understand about 9/11, like what's going on right now with the cloak and dagger routine they're doing as it pertains to January 6th. And so many other instances, too. I mean, Russian collusion hoax. I mean, it just piles up on and on and on. But CNN doesn't, let's be careful. We don't want this guy to get too much traction. Matt, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. The one thing that I know, Dan, you've mentioned a couple times is DeSantis and his campaign having a problem with messaging. That's my one problem with him. I feel that besides Trump, Vivek is the only one who says what's on his mind. The fact that we are waiting for DeSantis' campaign to straighten out his message to me is pathetic. He needs to come out there. He needs to just talk for himself, because as long as he tries to act like the typical professional politician, people are going to get more and more turned off by him. I know more and more people, people who live in Florida, my brother, my cousins, who are saying that he just lost a lot because they feel like he's being, his campaign is being run by, the D.C. swamp. And I think Vivek is much stronger, is coming across as somebody like Trump, who just says what's on his mind and doesn't wait to get approval from a campaign.
Thanks for the call, Matt.
I mean, there was months where Governor Santos was not accessible at all to the media.
I think
and that hurt him.
I think that's a good observation from Matt too, because what's happened is Vivek Ramaswamy has essentially is co-occupying, maybe is on the cusp of primarily occupying a lane that Ron DeSantis was supposed to occupy.
Yep.
He was supposed to be the intelligent guy that pulls the curtains back, completely intrepid, completely unafraid of the press corps, the establishment, Republicans, the D.C. swamp creatures of both parties. Completely unafraid. I'm the guy, not only do I know where the bodies are buried because I was a member of Congress, and not only have I taken on the left successfully in Florida, but I'm going to take this model to D.C., which he has said, but you got to prove that up by talking to some extent like Ramaswamy is talking about these things and being omnipresent in your prosecution of that message. And because DeSantis wasn't, Vivek Ramaswamy slid into that spot. Yeah. And it could change. It could change. But now I think DeSantis has to pivot a bit and be Ramaswamy is a good talker and he's got a corporate background. But he doesn't have a record, so you're relying on what he says he will do versus what I have done, and I think that DeSantis has sort of the brand that he had coming in as a swashbuckler has been diluted, and he has to figure out a way to get that back, and that starts tonight. Jim in Port Charlotte.
Good morning. I heard Colonel Douglas McGregor in an interview state that Ron DeSantis came out and bashed the Ukraine, money contributions, and then backpedaled several days later. And what McGregor said is he's beholden, DeSantis, to his donors, which is like every other politician in Washington, just like Greg Steube, our representative. I call 100 times, not once will this man call me. They're all the same. They're not accountable to us, and I believe DeSantis has turned that corner and showed us who he really is. Even though he's done a lot of good stuff down here, I think he's a snake in the grass, to be honest with you. I think he's kind of part of the establishment, and McGregor's right.
Thanks for the call, Jim. Well, regardless of whether you adopt Doug McGregor's position on Ukraine in toto, DeSantis is stumbling around for his footing on Ukraine shortly after he announced did not help. And then you start to get people saying, well, why is he all over the place? It's not like this hasn't been in the news. I know he's a governor, but everybody is talking about this and thinking about it, of course, because there's potentially a lot at stake here. And then you say, well, this is a guy who's got all these billionaires and big funders behind him. He's the guy that was coming in as the guy who could challenge Trump because he's got this huge war chest and he's got this record of success. And it was, and before the indictment started, it was a race that you saw, well, it's certainly possible. I mean, he's within striking distance, even though Trump had a lead. And then that's all evaporated. Part of it is something that he couldn't control, and that's Trump being indicted 4 times. And part of it is something he could, which is how he entered the campaign, this campaign, how he presented his candidacy, and how he's prosecuted his case so far. Rich, Indian Head Park.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. My question is, tonight, when they have this debate, are they going to talk more about the issues and tell the American people what they're going to do to get the country back on track? Or is it going to be more of a discussion about Trump and attacks on him? Thanks. You guys have a nice day.
Thanks, Rich. We'll get David Drucker's view on that at 6:36, but, I expect it's going to be a mixed bag. You got 8 people on that stage. They're trying to fight for relevance, frankly, all of them, to varying degrees. And so there are going to be different approaches taken. And Trump's certainly going to come up, and I think you're going to see Tim Scott take a very different approach than Chris Christie, as we were saying. Matt, South Bend.
Yeah, I was going to say a little perception about the old narratives of unifying the country with the border the way it is. Those are some topics that I'd like to, see if they're going to progress and take forward. And just in question, do you think any of the candidates here are going to have a better chance to say, things that are going to be affecting us in the future economically and not just, attack Trump, but get on with the Biden policies and failures?
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Matt.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider you can trust, like my friends at Low T Center, where I get my levels checked in half of the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T is not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait, because I wouldn't tolerate that. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month, so you don't have to drive to the center for weekly visits. And right now, Low T Center is only $25 to get your T level tested with results back in about 25 minutes. So what are you waiting for? Log on now to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number foreverremodeling.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I've had a high energy level every day, and I've just been doing great. And I just feel like it's a definite advantage to take them. Let me just say one other thing. I mentioned to my doctor that I was taking Balance of Nature, and they said they were very positive about that. And they said that was really good. That's a good product. And so I've been very pleased.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
David Drucker, senior writer for the Dispatch, is in Milwaukee preparing for tonight's debate. He will join us at 6:36 to give his reviews of what he expects to happen tonight. 6:36, David Drucker.
But now let's head into the newsroom first and check in with Nikki Whaley, who's in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 77 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Some GOP voters in Wisconsin are expressing their disappointment in former President Trump's decision to skip the debate tonight. Most of a group of voters speaking with Fox News ahead of the debate said not taking part is a missed opportunity for Trump. The voters say they will look for one of the candidates participating in the debate to emerge as someone who can challenge Trump for the Republican nomination. An Illinois home health care provider is being ordered to pay more than $324,000 in back wages and damages. The order is part of the U.S. Department of Labor's effort to recover overtime denied to 159 health care workers at Destiny Healthcare Services. Investigators determined that the company's owner and administrator didn't keep accurate records of hours worked. News is a service of MyPillow. Big news, the MyPillow employees want to thank you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98 with promo code Amy. Visit MyPillow.com and use the promo code Amy. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Join John Anthony, host of Black and Right, for a cruise on Lake Michigan on Saturday, September 9th. Come aboard the luxury yacht Free Spirit for a fun afternoon with fellow AM 560 listeners. Enjoy great food and beverages and be a part of the live broadcast of Black and Right with John Anthony. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cruise. That's 560theanswer.com/cruise.
Hey, everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Are you worried about investing in the stock market, especially with Joe Biden in office? Do you really trust the economy? What if you could invest in a secure, collateralized portfolio with a high fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed? A portfolio where you'll know what each monthly statement will look like with no surprises. Your interest is compounded daily. You're repaid monthly, and there are no fees. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. And get this, there's absolutely no loss of principal if you ever need your money back. Just go to investrefy.com. That's invest, the letter Y, then refy.com, or call 888-YREFI, 888-YREFY24. You can earn a fixed rate of return or up to 10.25%. Just call 888-YREFY24 or go to investrefy.com and tell them Charlie Kirk sent you.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. The depth of corruption in the investigation of Hunter Biden got exposed this week by an unlikely media source, the New York Times. A damning report corroborated by Politico confirms Republican suspicions that David Weiss attempted to run out the clock on tax evasion charges and let Hunter Biden off scot-free. In fact, the plea deal announced in June fell apart in part because IRS whistleblowers forced Weiss to change position and require Hunter to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges. Until the IRS agents went public with Weiss's obstruction, the U.S. attorney had already arranged to cover all of the issues in a diversion agreement, not just the firearms charge, and to give Hunter immunity for all other charges as well. This makes clear that Attorney General Merrick Garland presides over a corrupt and politicized Department of Justice. Appointing Weiss as special counsel after his failed attempt to bury the scandal in a diversion agreement confirms it. And it's so obvious that even the New York Times has to cover it. I'm Ed Morrissey.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This hourly segment from here to there. We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Heavy delays due to road construction on the Eisenhower eastbound between Morgan Street and Congress Parkway. Left lane is blocked. You're going to be currently backed up to Ashland Boulevard, about a little bit of a 5-minute delay for there. Traffic's filling in on the Stevenson Expressway as well as on the Edens. Traffic is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. Wendy's new Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you choose from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today, 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow, the high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen Sunday night at 9.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Talking about tonight's GOP presidential debate in Milwaukee. And one of the things it seems to me that candidates need to do here is offer some policy area or policy idea that captivates people, that separates them. Because, of course, everybody's going to say more or less the same things about, for example, the Trump indictments, because they've all gone on the record and said more or less the same thing. So we pretty much know. Yeah, Vivek, I mean, maybe with the exception of Chris Christie. Ramaswamy, I'll pardon Trump right away for the crimes that I can pardon him for, which actually Mark Levin argues includes the state level charges. I disagree with his legal reasoning there, but that's a separate issue. So like when it turns to Trump and the need to move on from Trump as the party's leader, if that's the case that's going to be made, and it needs to be made in some form or fashion, otherwise why are they on the stage?
Right.
What are they going to do? Well, here's one tack that maybe DeSantis would take, following in the footsteps of his super PAC, this new hit on Trump that DeSantis affiliated super PAC released. It starts with Trump on rally stages in 2016 as a candidate, then the debate stage directly addressing one Hillary Clinton, and then how his tune changes after he's elected and she isn't, and how upset people like Judicial Watch's Tom Fitton were at the time.
The Clintons are criminals. Remember that. They're criminals.
I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
Honestly, she should be locked up. She has to go to jail. Ending this criminal government corruption is one of the most important reasons you have to go out on November 8th.
CNN projects Donald Trump wins the presidency.
We begin with breaking news. The president-elect will not pursue any investigations into Hillary Clinton.
They're good people. I don't want to hurt them.
Quote, I don't want to hurt the Clintons. I really don't. She went through a lot and suffered greatly.
He doesn't wish to pursue these charges. If Donald Trump can help her heal, then perhaps that's a good thing.
He needs to heal the rule of law, and he needs to forget about healing Hillary Clinton. It would be at odds with the promises to drain the swamp that President-elect Trump made, promises which helped him win office.
No, it's okay. No, forget it. That plays great before the election. No, we don't care, right?
I was very honored, very, very honored, when I heard that President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton was coming today. And I'd like you to stand up. I have a lot of respect for those two people. We all want the same thing. We're all good people. We call her beautiful Hillary now because, that one's over with.
That is an effective ad. I forgot about all that. And remember, President Trump was invited to Chelsea's wedding. They've been friends for a while.
It is an effective ad because it presents the opportunity for Ron DeSantis to provide a contrast. He said he was going to do these things. That was part of the value proposition of Trump and draining the swamp. And are there two bigger swamp creatures than the Clintons and that Clinton Foundation money laundering operation they were running?
Yeah, Jill and Joe Biden aren't any better.
He didn't do it. Now you could say, well,
and look what they did to him.
In the interest of healing the country, and this was him being the bigger person and so on and so forth. Well, yeah, I get that. And there were a lot of people that essentially said that at the time. And this is, Trump trying to be magnanimous. Actually, not trying to be, Trump being magnanimous. But magnanimity is not the order of the day. There's nothing magnanimous, as Tom Fitton said, in dispensing with the rule of law because you scored a political victory and now it's time to move on. Political decision, where you spend political capital, I get it, but right, they had no problem then immediately launching on him and besetting his presidency with 2.5 years of Russian collusion hoax.
Yeah, 2 impeachments and now 4 indictments. And look what they did to him. They don't care.
And DeSantis, and say, I ran saying, look, we're going to have the rule of law in Florida. And as governor, you have powers in Florida that a lot of other governors don't have to remove prosecutors who decide that they don't want to enforce the law. And I've done just that twice. And so when it comes to saying you're going to enforce the rule of law and then enforcing the rule of law, when it comes to if I have the power, I'm going to use it consistent with the Constitution at the state level, the Constitution at the federal level. I'm going to use it. He could have, he didn't. And you believe he's going to use it if he's reelected against Biden Incorporated? Or are we going to have another one of these moments? Let me tell you right now, if I'm elected, we're not going to have another one of these moments because we're going to hold the Biden family and anybody in their orbit accountable under the law, consistent with the power the President, Department of Justice has, consistent with the Constitution. That could be a moment for DeSantis.
Trump, that ad makes Trump look like a fool because he believed them and he was so kind. And then they turn around and just did what they did to him.
It also speaks to an idea that, you know, it's the classic story of the outside guy becomes the inside guy. And then when he's the inside guy, he wants to be accepted by the inside people.
Mm-hmm.
For more on all this, pleased to be joined by David Drucker, senior writer for The Dispatch, author of In Trump's Shadow, The Battle for 2024 and the Future of the GOP. And David, you're already up there in Laverne and Shirley land, aren't you?
I am.
All right, great. You know, just to the point I was making, I guess first sort of DeSantis and how he handles Trump, because that may be the moment where he starts to potentially re-energize interest in his campaign. Do you think that, or is it going to be another issue that DeSantis is banking on, capitalizing upon to captivate the GOP primary voters?
Well, I mean, listen, I think you guys make some good points about the importance of distinguishing yourself on key issues and, you know, finding ways to contrast yourself with Trump. Obvious parts of any successful debate. But I think what DeSantis has to do, and any of them have to do, is distinguish themselves as leaders. You know, and this is sort of an amorphous, emotional feeling that you give to a voter that you can lead, that you can fight the enemies that need to be fought successfully, that you can stand up to political opponents and pressure that comes with the job, that comes from foreign adversaries and domestic political opponents. And, you know, what we've seen from Trump and his success in the Republican Party is it's true that, you know, he is where he needs to be, when he needs to be there on key issues like gun rights and abortion and things like that. But ultimately, one of the reasons Republicans have had trouble overtaking him in this primary and generally over the past, you know, several years is that, you know, for a lot of voters, it always comes back to this idea that nobody can fight the man like Trump. Nobody can stand up to pressure like Trump. And all these other Republicans are really great and really smart, but, you know, when it comes down to choosing a president versus a cabinet official, or choosing a president now versus, you know, when Trump is termed out of office, if he gets a second term and were to actually be termed out, well, then we'll look at these other people. But right now, Trump has the most leadership qualities that I want, and all of these things that, you know, we discuss about inconsistencies with the Clintons and inconsistencies with certain campaign promises from 2016. You know, people are like, yeah, well, that's true, and yes, he was friends with the Clintons, and yes, you know, he was a Democrat, but like none of these things are really as important to me as the leadership that he brings to the table compared to other Republicans running for president.
Do you think people are still upset that he's going to be a no-show tonight? I mean, you're going to have an audience of possibly 30 to 50 million people. Well, a lot of people are still candidate shopping.
Yeah, I don't think they care. I think they're giving him a pass. I think when you're consistently above 50% in the polls, it means that you got a lot of support. And strategically, it may turn out that skipping this debate was a mistake. But in the moment, I think it's the right strategic decision to skip it because he's right now in the position of being a quasi-incumbent. And so he skips the debate, which protects him against errors, and he gets to let DeSantis be the biggest target on the stage. So let them all beat up on him, which is what Trump is doing, and make it even tougher. And, you know, look, if DeSantis has a mediocre night, never mind a bad night, people will say, look, Trump wasn't even there and he still couldn't really get it done. So, you know, I think it serves Trump's purposes strategically. Again, could turn out to be an error down the line. But, you know, I think most Republican voters right now are willing to give him a pass, at least for this debate. We'll see how they feel about the next one.
Well, right. And he'll take the same position. I mean, if things start to tighten up, even in the early states, then he may feel more compelled to make one of the subsequent debates. What about just thinking about the foreign policy issues on the table? This would seem to me an area where Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, members of Congress, would maybe try to separate themselves from people who haven't had to make these decisions as an elected official per se. We had the authors of this new book about the Afghan withdrawal called Kabul, Jerry Dunleavy and a former Army captain who was a Bronze Star recipient. And they detail how there are still Americans who want to get out of Afghanistan who have been left behind, in addition to, and this is now Wall Street Journal op-ed as well, at least 218 Afghan partners have been murdered, according to this report from the UN. Some were taken to detention facilities and killed in custody, while others taken to unknown locations and killed, their bodies dumped or handed over to family members. And, of course, as is also detailed in this book, there's many more interpreters who fought and aided American troops who want to get out, too, and we haven't kept our promises. So you had those Gold Star families testify before the ISA committee just a couple of weeks ago. You've got these reports of both Afghan allies and Americans still behind enemy lines effectively. And you've got the United States providing billions in support to NGOs that are essentially controlled by the Taliban. This seems to me like somebody could have a "what the hell are we doing" moment. And let me tell you what I'm going to do as president to address this.
Well, yeah, possibly. Sometimes presidential candidates are able to have breakout moments on foreign policy issues. Sometimes they're the source of gas. The interesting
but
thing
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I mean, to your point about this needing to exude leadership, this is where you sound like a commander in chief who's going to make sure America keeps her promises to Americans as well as our allies. And here's what we should do now to rescue people that are still behind enemy lines. Number one, we're going to stop funding the Taliban. Number two, number three, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. It just seems like it could be a leadership moment.
It could be, but I don't really think the candidates will disagree on that topic generally. When the issue you just laid out, what I would say though, and this is can be a minefield for Republicans these days, is Republican voters, or at least the base of the Republican Party, I should say, is very hesitant to support any kind of military intervention anywhere for any reason. Sort of flipping from what the Democratic Party and the Republican Party was years ago. And so the minute you say, I'm going to do something about it, it's going to be like, well, then how? Well, if you're going to really do something about this, we're going to send in troops. We're going to take back Bagram. We're going to set up a base, and we're going to start picking people off, picking people up. And I don't know that any one of these candidates wants to commit to redeploying troops to Afghanistan, given how voters felt about that. They don't like the way we left, but the idea of getting out, if it had been done competently, was popular with the base and the sort of the energy of the party that's behind Trump in the base. And so I don't know anybody that's going to want to go there.
Mm-hmm. Do you think all the candidates have the same position on border security?
Yeah, more or less. There are differences, there are nuances, like how much wall do you need, how much technology do you use, should you deploy federal military troops versus just National Guard or Border Patrol. But in general, they're all going to talk about cracking down on illegal crossings, cracking down on interior security and hiring of illegal immigrants. So that's one where you could distinguish yourself from a policy perspective. But again, most of these candidates are going to broadly agree on the deal breakers. Although, who knows, we could see a surprise from some of them. Vivek Ramaswamy has consistently said that he opposes federal legislation to limit abortion rights. Other candidates say they would sign any abortion rights limitation that could somehow get through Congress, which is going to be almost impossible anyway, but they would sign it if it actually happened. So you might see some differences of opinion on that issue in particular.
It seems to me, and border security is a good example. This is an opportunity for DeSantis to say, look, I'm a doer. I don't give speeches on the Senate floor. I'm a doer. So what did I do as governor? I sent migrants to Martha's Vineyard, who wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard, to expose the rank hypocrisy of the left, to expose the ridiculous policies of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, such that right now in New York, both Democrats, Eric Adams, the mayor, Governor Hochul, the governor, are getting poor marks from, basically a leftist electorate in New York for their handling of migrants. It's like now we're starting to see the implications of these sentimentalist policies we pursued. And, this is what I did as governor. I exposed the left's hypocrisy and the folly of their positions so that we can advance our policy. I do things. I don't just talk about it.
And he also sent the Florida National Guard to Texas to help out.
Yeah, look, I think that helps. I think I think the fact that he can point to a record of accomplishment, not just a record of proposals, can help. But again, I think especially with these kinds of events, voters they judge different candidates differently. Governor DeSantis is a governor. They would expect him to have accomplished things. Other candidates that haven't been in office, they wouldn't expect them to have a record of accomplishment. They understand that all you can really say is what you would do. And being an outsider, you get a lot of chits these days for not being a part of the system, not being elected to any office. So again, there's a lot of opportunity for DeSantis, but there's also a lot of opportunity for his competitors. I'm curious, and regardless of polling and everything else, if somebody we don't expect or haven't talked much about is going to have a breakout night, then you see what breakout means. Do they really pop in polling? Does their fundraising really pop? Are they all of a sudden talked about in a different way? And I'm curious if somebody that we're not talking about, just a curiosity, is going to end up owning the stage. Time is really a big deal, guys. When you have a debate stage with so many people, it's not enough to not make mistakes. It's not enough to say a few good things. You have to have a lot of talk time. You have to grab it. You have to own it. If you're not talking for long stretches, if you end up disappearing in the debate, that's just as good as a gaffe. It's just as good as blowing it.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we talked to Bret Baier on Friday, and he said, there's the structure, but we're going to try to, let them go back and forth when there are moments where it makes sense that a couple or few candidates are having a back and forth on a particular issue. We want people to see that. So there are opportunities if you want to be aggressive, but then you also have to be careful not to be too aggressive to have those exchanges that may benefit a candidate or two. Yeah, it can be a delicate balance. I don't do this for a living. I'm just a color commentator, but over the years, the candidates in these formats that grab a lot of time have a better chance of being presumed to have done well by viewers. Forget us, but by voters than not. If one candidate gets 20 minutes of airtime because that's how long they talked, and we'll keep these stats, we'll get them later, and the other candidate gets 10, it can be really difficult to come out of this accomplishing what you wanted to. He is David Drucker, senior writer for The Dispatch, author of In Trump's Shadow, The Battle for 2024 and the Future of the GOP. David, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the debate up there in Milwaukee.
Thank you.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Tony Dreyfus, founder and president of Metropolis Coffee Company and a proud new customer of Signature Bank. We're a 19-year-old specialty coffee roaster located in the heart of Chicago. Some of your favorite restaurants and cafes serve our coffee. As a small business manufacturer, we understand the importance of working with the right bank, and that's why we made the move to Signature Bank. We were tired of the impersonal service that our large bank had provided. A friend referred us to Signature Bank, and their team was on site to understand our operations firsthand. They provided us the working capital to continue our successful business operations and to fuel our ambitions for innovation and growth. We now have the flexibility to grow at our own pace. That personal touch, you can't find that at a large bank, but we found it at Signature, and we can't thank them enough.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. A storm is on the horizon. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000, 630-834-6000, or charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oliver Anthony, you know, the Richmond, north of Richmond guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a new ditty out. I want to go home. You'll hear it at 7:07, and then there's some counter ditties out too, trying to wrestle the working man representative title away from him.
Really?
All at 7:07.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised by any of that. All right, today, guess what? It's going to be hot, but we're going to be okay. Remember, we've been through this before when we were children. A high today of 99 degrees, and then tomorrow, a high near 100 degrees. It is now 7 a.m. WIND Chicago.
You get one chance to make a first impression. I'm Chris Foster of Fox News, and for a lot of Americans, tonight's debate will be the first time checking out the Republican presidential candidates, 8 of them participating. Fox's Grady Trimble in Milwaukee.
One issue that will likely take center stage tonight is the economy. The reason for that is we've talked to voters here and we've heard from voters across the country who say inflation and the economy are close to the top of their list of important issues right now.
Fox's Brooke Singman.
Democrats are already preparing to counter tonight's debate. Billboards are being put up across Milwaukee as the DNC says it'll have a real-time war room to respond to any, quote, egregious claims made by the candidates tonight.
And former President Trump is skipping the debate. He has plans to be in Atlanta tomorrow. 4 of 18 co-defendants in the criminal case there have already turned themselves in ahead of Friday's deadline. Rudy Giuliani's on the list.
Multiple news reports suggest today is the day Giuliani will turn himself in, charged with attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. Giuliani has yet to find a Georgia attorney to represent him, and yesterday represented himself in defending a lawsuit by a supermarket employee who claims Giuliani lied when he claimed he'd assaulted the 79-year-old former mayor. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
A court filing related to the federal classified documents case against the former president says a witness changed testimony after changing lawyers, now implicating Trump and 2 co-defendants in efforts to delete security camera video. We're about a half hour away from India's space agency trying to land an unmanned spacecraft on the far side of the moon. That would be a first. A Russian spacecraft crashed this past Saturday. India's first attempt ended with a crash in 2019. Ice pools on the moon's far side could help make rocket fuel and provide water for long-term settlements. America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 77 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Some GOP voters in Wisconsin are expressing their disappointment in former President Trump's decision to skip tonight's debate. Most of a group of voters speaking with Fox News ahead of the debate called it a missed opportunity for Trump. This woman who voted for Trump in the last election expressed doubt about his appeal if he wins the GOP nomination.
I think going into this next election, though, is going to be all about kind of those middle voters. And that's who I want to see is someone that can bridge the divide. And I'm not sure that Donald Trump can do that. I think he's very polarizing and divisive as much as I love him. And I'm looking for a lead candidate like a Ron DeSantis to come out.
This woman says that she hopes the candidates taking part in the debate focus on the issues rather than attacking one another. Members of the Teamsters Union are ratifying a 5-year deal at UPS. That puts an end to the threat of a strike. The union announced Tuesday that 86% of its members voted for the contract, which will be retroactively in effect starting August 1st. The Teamsters president says this was the best contract in the history of UPS. He says it should be used as a template for worker protection across the country. A man accused of shooting a Bolingbrook police officer is facing charges. Victor Serrate is charged with attempted first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and the aggravated discharge of a firearm. Officials say that he shot the officer Saturday night before barricading himself inside of a home. The officer has been treated and released from the hospital. Serrate is being held in custody on a $5 million bond. News is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile or text the word app to 64636. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees more phony charges.
It is said that Lavrenti Beria, the founder of the KGB, his motto was, "Show me the man, and I will find you the crime." We have arrived at that point in America. President Trump solicited actions to guarantee that the 2020 elections were fair. That was his crime.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Consumer Cellular's award-winning customer support is 100% based in the U.S., and you are 100% based in the U.S. That's something you have in common with Consumer Cellular's customer service. And Consumer Cellular customer service likes pizza, and you like pizza. And Consumer Cellular has an acute fear of spiders, and your fear of spiders is acute as well. So you already have so many things to discuss when you call Consumer Cellular to talk about our affordable and flexible phone plans. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Are you choosing foods that just keep you going through the day? Or are you choosing foods that keep you going with an abundance of energy?
I did notice a boost in energy. My wife noticed it. I noticed it as I'm driving. Balance of Nature has definitely helped me out.
I discovered Balance of Nature. I noticed energy level much improved, and I could go longer and didn't feel the fatigue.
I've been taking Balance of Nature, and it's definitely given me an energy boost so that I can keep up with the grandkids.
When I tried Balance of Nature, I felt like I had more energy right away. I feel great.
Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I've been able to relieve myself of this slump and get on with my day. I want to keep living my life with energy, and Balance of Nature helps me do that.
Get consistent, real nutrition in your body and experience the difference for yourself. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Stalled vehicle blocking a center right lane on Dan Ryan. Local lanes westbound before 18th Street. That's got a bit of brake tapping. Still seeing delays due to construction. They're working on Kennedy eastbound between Montrose and Ohio. 2 lanes are blocked. Also a left lane taken away on Eisenhower East between Morgan and Congress Parkway. Traffic is a service of Starcase. Starcase will design and build custom-fit reusable shipping containers for the safe transport of your fragile and important items. Whether it's being shipped by road, rail, or air, make sure it's in a Starcase. Go to starcase.com to learn more.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today, 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow, the high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox Valley Coins. No waiting, no problems, no charge for in-store verbal appraisals. Bring your gold or silver in today. FoxValleyCoins.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So the Oliver Anthony phenomenon continues. You know Oliver Anthony. He brought you this song a couple of weeks ago that went viral. I think it's actually, did I see that as number one on the Billboard Hot 100? Incredible.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men know the rich men.
Yeah, so that's the one that's gone to the top of the charts and has this guy getting all sorts of industry offers.
Yeah, I mean, he surpassed Taylor Swift, more like a number of number one artists. He's in the number one spot right now, so good for him.
He was profiled in Variety. He had a lot to say, including some excerpts from Facebook posts. People in the music industry give me blank stares when I brush off $8 million offers. I don't want 6 tour buses, 15 tractor trailers, and a jet. I don't want to play stadium shows. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I wrote the music I wrote because I was suffering with mental health and depression. These songs have connected with millions of people on such a deep level because they're being sung by someone feeling the words in the very moment they were being sung. No editing, no agent, no bull jive, just some idiot and his guitar, the style of music that we should never have gotten away from in the first place. He continued, there's nothing special about me. I'm not a good musician. I'm not a very good person. I spent the last 5 years struggling with mental health and using alcohol to drown it. I'm sad to see the world in the state it's in, with everyone fighting with each other. I've spent many nights feeling hopeless that the greatest country on earth is quickly fading away.
How many people can relate to that?
He said that he was a high school dropout who has lived and worked in North Carolina and Virginia, working in industrial manufacturing for the last 9 years and getting to know tens of thousands of other blue-collar workers on job sites and in factories. I've spent all day, every day for the last 10 years hearing the same story. People are so damn tired of being neglected, divided, and manipulated. By the way, the property that he's on, he sings these songs.
He lives in a $750 camper that he bought on Craigslist.
It's a farm. He paid $97,500 for it in 2019. He still owes about $60,000, he says. And he's turning down multi-million-dollar recording deals. Interesting. He went on to say, it's been difficult as I browse through the 50,000 messages and emails I've received in the last week. The stories have been shared, the stories that have been shared painted brutally honest pictures: suicide, addiction, unemployment, anxiety, depression, hopelessness, the list goes on. I'm sitting in such a weird place in my life right now. I've never wanted to be a full-time musician, much less sit at the top of the iTunes chart. I filmed these tunes on my land with the hope that it may hit 300,000 views. I still don't quite believe what has went on since we uploaded it. It's just strange to me. But ironically, one last piece before we hear his new offering.
I can't wait to hear it.
Ironically, since he's a overnight success, so to speak, because of the internet, Oliver Anthony says, I hate the way the internet has divided us. The internet is a parasite that infects the minds of humans and has their way with them. Hours wasted, goals forgotten, loved ones sitting in houses with each other, distracted all day by technology made by the hands of other poor souls in sweatshops in a foreign land. When is enough enough? When are we going to fight for what's right again? Millions have died protecting the liberties we have. Freedom of speech is such a precious gift. Never in world history has the world had the freedom it currently does. Don't let them take that away from you. All right. And maybe that's what he had in mind when he recorded his latest song, I Want to Go Home.
Well, if it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more. And I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees begging the Lord to take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Play a little American Idol here. Or America's Got Talent, whichever
or
you
The
prefer.
Voice.
Same concept. So you've heard, too, from Oliver Anthony. This has spawned a response from the left, which, of course, is the rest of the music industry.
Are they out of their minds or jealous?
Most notably, Billy Bragg. He's a British singer, and he has penned a, I wouldn't call it a parody, but he paraphrases Oliver Anthony's song to offer the left's version of the Ballad of the Working Man. Billy Bragg responding to rich men north of Richmond, rich men earning north of $1 million.
If you're selling your soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, well, nothing's gonna change if all you do is wish you could wake up and it not be true. Join a union for better pay. You better join a union, brother. Organize today, you'll see where the problem really lies when the union comes around. Rich men earning north of $1 million wanna keep the working folk down, wanna keep the working folk down. Form a union, you'll soon find that working people are all of one kind. So we ain't gonna punch down on those who need a bit of understanding and some solidarity. That ain't right, friend. If you're struggling with your health and you're putting on the pounds, doctor gives you opiates to help you get around. Well, wouldn't it be better for folks like you and me if medicine was subsidized and healthcare was free? Join a union for better pay. Come on and join a
Which do you like better? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text. I'm organizing this shop right now.
Okay.
After hearing from Billy Bragg. Yeah, let's get the Teamsters in here and organize AM 560. Uh-huh.
No, I could do without a union.
Rich men earning north of $1 million, rich men north of Richmond, and, of course, his new offering, I Want to Go Home, which he's really talking about going back to the old world, not this new world that he's describing.
You can also text us at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Frank in Arlington Heights.
Hey, no doubt Oliver Anthony's song, #1 on iTunes, like you said. And why is that? Because beauty is truth. Truth is beauty. People want to hear the truth. They want to feel it. Just like back in the early 1500s when the church was engaging in all of its corruption, and the new printing press had come out a couple decades before. People were beginning to learn how to read. They wanted to hear the truth from Martin Luther about the corruption in the church. We have a government and government officials who do not care one whit about the American people. They don't at all. In fact, they're becoming very much like some of the worst Roman emperors that we have, where they're deliberately doing things to poke us in the eye and make us feel horrible. And like Commodus, Frank McGlynn wrote a great book on Marcus Aurelius. His son Commodus was a horrible emperor, and he would do things like go into Rome, and he would befriend poor people, bring them into the palace with him, and he would, these poor people were like, wow, I'm going to be friends with the emperor. Wow, I'm going to get to eat with him, and then he would feed them, and he would feed them literally feces that would be spiced up. And he would do things like take really short people and put them up on stilts and give people who had no shoes, he'd give them little shoes with tacks at the bottom and say, wow, I got you these shoes. Aren't they great? I mean, this is the kind of sick stuff that Commodus would do to some of the Roman people.
That's why That's why Russell Crowe said the time for honoring yourself will soon be over. Yes.
Absolutely. This is the kind of stuff that Biden is doing. His whole little routine in Maui with 1,000 people missing and kids most likely incinerated because they wouldn't put the horns on. And he's talking about his kitchen fire.
I know.
And his 67 Corvette. I mean, and then, getting rid of the student debt, after just deliberately ignoring the courts. I mean, these are things they're doing deliberately to poke people in the eye. That's what they're doing. And people have had it. So a guy like Oliver Anthony's song, it's going to go to #1 on iTunes. That's what it's going to do because people have had it. They really have.
Thanks
I
for the
know.
call,
I mean,
Frank.
President Biden makes up lies to commiserate with other people, and he's not even doing it effectively. Like, his compassion isn't even there anymore.
Something else anymore that assumes it was there at some point.
There's no more empathy because he's senile. What I think.
Yeah, or he's just a bad human being.
Or, yes, that too.
Interesting that Frank brought up the church. Christianity Today. Oh, man. Something. They, the folks at Christianity Today, first they wrote an article praising the Barbie movie and Taylor Swift as bringing the country together. Then they go after Oliver Anthony.
Why?
Music that names the inherent dignity of the poor lodges a protest against establishment excess and echoes Old Testament calls for justice like God's condemnation in Jeremiah 5:28. That's one thing. But when Oliver Anthony sang the words in Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milk and welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought to not pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Protests against wealthy elites and government corruption, no matter how justified, cannot ride on the backs of others who are suffering. The price of accessing food through SNAP or a church food pantry must not be the poor's dignity and self-worth. That's Christianity Today's criticism of that lyric in Richmond, north of Richmond, which is just complete nonsense. First of all, this is not lodging a protest on the backs or at the price of the poor's dignity and self-worth. This is talking about people who have become wards of the state by their own choices. Yes, I know the incentives are perverse, but they're doing so by their own choices. The Bible also says, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. And that's what Oliver Anthony is talking about, speaking about his experience. And you get the context when he speaks about his experience working in factories in North Carolina and Virginia for the last decade and meeting regular Johnny Lunch Pails like himself. And then you see people working hard to get by, and they got to pay for people who aren't working to also get by. Able-bodied people,
right,
who aren't working.
Not fair.
Yeah, it's a fairness thing. That's what this is all about, which is what Frank was just talking about. But Christianity Today takes time to go after Oliver Anthony by, I would say, purposely, unless they're that dense, purposely misunderstanding that lyric in the context of the song and in the context of Oliver Anthony's life, while praising Barbie and Taylor Swift. That's where Christianity Today is today. Candace, I'll probably read this article and have everybody applaud at your church on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Hi, Candace.
Hi. I love Oliver Anthony. I heard that wasn't his real name, though. But when his song came out, I thought it was really fun to watch compilations of, like, all races listening to it and men weeping. Because it is a song that makes you cry because things are so bad. And, I mean, but it makes me sick how the left, like, they totally steal his little riff. And they're so jealous. They're such, like, covetous, jealous, pathetic, talentless losers. They would never, I mean, you know what's interesting about Zach Bryan and Oliver Anthony is their lyrics are so simple and old school country, like Appalachian country, and the left is not used to that, and they mock those people forever. And now that is, like, what's hot in country music. You know what I mean? So I love it. I think it's wonderful. And I love to see all races listening to the song, and it resonates with so many people.
Thanks for the call, Candace.
His real name is Christopher Anthony Lunsford, but Oliver Anthony was his grandfather's name. That's why he has it. And he prays every time before he makes a music video with his producer, which I thought was lovely.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're a business owner, imagine getting up to $26,000 per employee. There's still time for business owners to file for the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program. This program is for business owners who continue to pay their W-2 employees during the COVID pandemic. Many businesses qualify and simply do not know it. All business types and industries may qualify. You can claim the credit even if you received a PPP loan. This is a cash payment and not a loan, and can be claimed now. The licensed CPAs and tax professionals at DH Tax and Consulting have been serving business owners across the country for over 15 years. The best part is that until you receive your cash payment, you don't pay us a dime. Our tax credit specialists are available now at 833-ERC-FILE, and your tax payment estimate is quick, easy, and free. That's 833-ERC-FILE to qualify you and your business for up to $26,000 per W-2 employee for free federal aid. Call us now at 833-ERC-FILE. That's 833-ERC-FILE.
Text from 630, former union, 29 years. They're part of the problem, not part of the solution. Not signing on to the Billy Bragg program. Yeah, and free health care and join a union. Right. The collectivist versus the individualist perspective. And I would also say the secular versus the godly perspective. That's the difference between the Billy Bragg song and the Oliver Anthony song. Grant in Rockford.
Good morning, you two. Great topic. You know, his problem with the 5'3", 300-pound people is I'll be in the store and I'll watch them whip out their WIC card or food stamps, and then they buy a whole bunch of garbage with it, and then they pull out their wallet and they have $100 bill and they buy beer and all this other garbage. Or I'll see a family of illegals with a whole bunch of little anchors hanging off of them with a cart full of stuff that I know costs $400, and they don't speak the language. It's not fair. It's flat out not fair, and people see this stuff. We're fed up, and like Amy's been saying, $700 a month over 2 years ago.
Yep.
We can't stomach that. $4 a gallon. I want to see the I did that stickers come back. Let's make that a thing again. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Grant.
You get arrested for a felony for that in Illinois.
Yeah, I did that.
For Governor Pritzker.
Yeah,
remember?
right. Yeah, you only are allowed to affix stickers that say "Thank you, Governor Pritzker,"
Right.
Not sarcastically, and he'll know if you're being sarcastic.
Such a dictator. Oh my God.
He's a something tater. Yeah. You can remove the tater.
Right.
Oh,
I'll let you go on with your live read now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, sell it to me.
It's still Dan Proft. I'm still here. And now is the best time to drive home in your next Mazda or drive somewhere to a more hospitable destination. Maybe Oliver Anthony's campsite. During the season of Discovery Sales Event, you'll get the biggest savings on a new or pre-owned Mazda. What you see is what you pay. With limited time sales going on right now, there's no better time to buy at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Lease a 2023 Mazda CX-30 for $249 a month, or a 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $399 a month. That's for 36 months with approved credit through Mazda Capital Services for qualified buyers. Just add license, title, tax, and the $324.24 dock fee. Plus, stop in today and ask about the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90. And to keep your Mazda running great all year round, schedule your next service appointment online at WilkinsMazdaCars.com. Wilkins Mazda is conveniently located in Elmhurst off York Road and 290, just minutes from Oak Brook, downtown, and Schaumburg. Experience the next level of excellence at Wilkins Mazda in Elmhurst. Visit WilkinsMazdaCars.com. See dealer for details.
Don't defund the police. Hire the police to protect your business. Rising crime has been crippling business owners in Illinois more and more in the past year. Blue Star Security can protect your most valuable asset, your business, to protect both you and your customers. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 500 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Anthony Barchetto, president of Blue Star Security and a 20-year law enforcement veteran. Our team is exclusively state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals who provide the highest standards in security. We serve Fortune 500 companies as well as small businesses and individuals, responding rapidly and seamlessly to each assignment. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLTD.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLTD.com.
You can shed that fat and be slimmer for this summer. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40-plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans, to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you're burning fat, not just losing water. And you even get Dr. T's personal email and phone number. Locations close by in Skokie and Oak Brook, or available from home with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's Old Home Week, Iowa Hawkeyes. It's going to be interesting. You and Carrie Lake get to kibitz about your time as undergrads at the University of Iowa.
Yeah, we took, I think, Film Pro or TV Pro, one or two together. I can't remember.
We'll talk about that and maybe the debate and maybe the state of Arizona with Carrie Lake, the former Republican nominee for governor out there, 737.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Nikki Whaley in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 77 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is giving a talk this week on the U.S. economic outlook. Powell will deliver a speech Friday morning from the annual Central Bankers meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The Fed chair is expected to give his latest views on whether more policy tightening will be needed to bring down inflation during a time of strong economic growth. Chicago native Ed Siskel's headed back to the White House. President Biden announced that Siskel will serve as the White House counsel beginning next month, replacing Stuart Dellery. Siskel served for nearly 4 years in the White House counsel's office during the Obama-Biden administration, including deputy counsel. He also served 10 years as Chicago's corporate counsel under former mayor Rahm Emanuel. News is a service of Dan and Amy 24/7. You can now enjoy uninterrupted programming from Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson around the clock, all day, every day, including daily replays.
Just another hoax.
We got up and comers.
All options are on the table. Something has to give.
People of every background.
We got scandals.
Like Mama Jones said, someone's lying.
And the election season is just getting started. Keep up with all of it on Chicago's election station. AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard me tout the goodness that is 120 Life. It has so many benefits that I can't stop talking about. It's my go-to juice. I drink it every day, help keep my blood pressure in check, and I feel better drinking it. It's packed with natural ingredients that have amazing health benefits like pomegranate, hibiscus, and cherry. 120 Life tastes good, and it feels good, especially when you pour it over ice. It comes in a convenient 8-ounce bottle that makes it easy to take on the go, as well as the new powdered drink mix with only 1 gram of sugar and 5 calories. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Use coupon code LIBERTY. Save 15% off plus free shipping. And you can earn customer rewards points with every order. Points that you can collect and redeem for product discounts up to $50. Check it out at 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Make it easy to manage your high blood pressure. Try it today. Order now, 120life.com, and use coupon code LIBERTY. Save 15%. 120life.com. 120 Life. I love this stuff.
Rick here from Forever Remodeling. You probably heard me talk about how our unique design-build process removes the normal problems of hiring a design and construction company separately. But just don't take my word for it. Listen to these customer reviews. Kelly W. says, from consultation to design to construction, my remodel flowed seamlessly. Adity J says, we were thrilled to have a full-service remodeling firm take all the guesswork out of our project. And Caesar V says, Forever Remodeling made what could have been a very stressful project extremely easy for us. They finished on time and did amazing work. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, additions, whole house remodeling, whatever you need, our start-to-finish process delivers stunning results without the hassles, headaches, and stress. For a free consultation, call Forever Remodeling at 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number foreverremodeling.com.
Are you choosing foods that just keep you going through the day? Or are you choosing foods that keep you going with an abundance of energy?
I did notice a boost in energy. My wife noticed it. I noticed it as I'm driving. Balance of Nature has definitely helped me out.
I discovered Balance of Nature. I noticed energy level much improved, and I could go longer and didn't feel the fatigue.
I've been taking Balance of Nature, and it's definitely given me an energy boost so that I can keep up with the grandkids.
When I tried Balance of Nature, I felt like I had more energy right away. I feel great.
Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I've been able to relieve myself of this slump and get on with my day. I want to keep living my life with energy, and Balance of Nature helps me do that.
Get consistent, real nutrition in your body and experience the difference for yourself. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Are you considering a unique way to enhance your investment knowledge this year? Then sign up today for the all-inclusive Eagle Financial Publications Cruise. Along with our trusted partner, The Money Show, we're setting sail this December to explore some of the most beautiful and unspoiled destinations in the Caribbean. But this is no ordinary vacation. It's a chance to learn from top Eagle financial experts like best-selling authors George Gilder, Mark Skousen, and others who will be hosting a series of workshops and seminars throughout the trip. trip. Imagine lounging on the sun deck while discussing investment strategies with like-minded individuals. Or enjoying a gourmet dinner at the same table with one of our leading financial authorities. This once-in-a-lifetime cruise is a perfect way to combine education and relaxation to achieve your investment goals. This cruise will sell out quickly, so visit EagleFinancialCruise.com today to learn more and to secure your cabin. That's EagleFinancialCruise.com. Eagle Financial is a division of Salem Media Group.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. The depth of corruption in the investigation of Hunter Biden got exposed this week by an unlikely media source, the New York Times. A damning report corroborated by Politico confirms Republican suspicions that David Weiss attempted to run out the clock on tax evasion charges and let Hunter Biden off scot-free. In fact, the plea deal announced in June fell apart in part because IRS whistleblowers forced Weiss to change position and require Hunter to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges. Until the IRS agents went public with Weiss's obstruction, the U.S. attorney had already arranged to cover all of the issues in a diversion agreement, not just the firearms charge, and to give Hunter immunity for all other charges as well. This makes clear that Attorney General Merrick Garland presides over a corrupt and politicized Department of Justice. Appointing Weiss as special counsel after his failed attempt to bury the scandal in a diversion agreement confirms it. And it's so obvious that even the New York Times has to cover it. I'm Ed Morrissey.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts test your battery for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
Cable news. Noisy, out of touch, on repeat. Tired of all the lookalikes? So are we. Salem News Channel is here to change the game. Streaming 24/7, free on your TV with the greatest collection of conservative voices. Home to Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Like you, we say what's wrong and what's right. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Salem News Channel. We're the answer to the mainstream media. Learn more at snc.tv. How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Okie dokie, look at these roads. They're pretty heavy. You're going to be jam solid on the Eisenhower as well as on the Stevenson. Pretty typical for this time of the day, especially on the Edens. Yeah, it's very slow. We do have something that's going to cause it to be a little bit slower, which is a stalled vehicle right center lane blocked on Dan Ryan. Local lanes before 18th Street. That is causing a bit of a snare up. And delays on the Eisenhower eastbound between Morgan Street and Congress. Road crews have a left lane blocked. Traffic's brought to you by the Pride Stores, with 17 locations throughout Chicagoland that include Taco, Urbano, or Urban Counter restaurants. Stop by their newest location, the Pride of Kane County in St. Charles on the corner of Kirk and Main. The Pride Stores, not your typical convenience store.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today, 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow. The high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by IDT. Eliminate paper files with the IoT Smart Connected Scanning Device. Find them at ready4idt.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I'm really interested to get right to it with our next guest because we finally get some truth regarding Amy J's time at Iowa City, where she was supposedly a big deal, big woman on campus, girls of the Big Ten.
No, it was the Women of Iowa calendar.
Okay.
I was a Kappa Gamma.
6 of 1 Kappa. Of course, we got to get the sorority in. Dating competitive eaters and
working at sports column.
Who'd you date? Brad Lowhouse?
No, Jeff Moe.
Oh, Jeff Moe. Dating basketball players.
This is getting embarrassing. Because she doesn't remember me, and I'm crushed.
We'll see.
We were in TV Pro together and Film Pro.
Carrie Lake is a former TV news anchor and Iowa grad. She ran for governor of Arizona, you may have heard, and she is out on the stump for Trump as well. Carrie Lake, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. You're telling me this is the Amy Jacobson?
Oh, come on, you're lying.
Thank you.
No, she's renowned in Iowa.
Yes.
Come on.
They renamed like the footpath going across campus.
Oh, that is an honor.
It's the Amy Jacobson Memorial Footpath.
Memorial? She's not passed away.
She's still there.
Yes.
Amy Jacobson Footpath.
Yes, exactly.
They thought you died in Iowa City.
But I remember because you were a janitor during the summertime. And I talked to you about because we took TV Pro together, I'm sure.
Beginning.
No, it is very
Really?
humble.
I mean, are you kidding though, Amy? Are you my age? Did we go to college together?
No, yeah, we did.
That's what I thought.
See, and then I worked in Tucson at KOLD, and I know you worked with John Hook, who I'm friends with. And
Oh my gosh.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you. I'll send you the video.
You know what? I need to see your face, my dear. But
Okay.
Thank you for confirming that she was a nobody at Iowa. That's what we were hoping.
I just heard the list of highlights, and I'm like, wow, she had way more fun than I did.
All right. Very good. Well, you two gals will have to get together and relive old times at some point. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So
hello, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hello, Hawkeye.
Yeah. Boy, the sisterhood took a little hit there. All right. So Carrie, before we get to the debate tonight and this election cycle, I think our listeners would be interested in some perspective on your journey, both as a candidate and then for 6 months after the election, challenging the results. Do you have any regrets about challenging the results, for example?
Not only do I not have regrets, I'm still challenging them. Our case is still alive and well, even though the media doesn't tell people that. We're in the appellate court with our case. We just filed another case about a month ago to get the envelopes for the mail-in ballots because they don't have signatures on them. They have chicken scratches, and the entire process is a sham. And so we're continuing to fight this. I've traveled across the country. I know where the people of Arizona stand. They watched as their election day was sabotaged. And where 60% of the voting locations, primarily all of them, Republican areas, had equipment that didn't work, tabulators that didn't work, and the ballots were misprinted. And I think there's a problem with that. And the people of Arizona are horrified by what happened. They want me to fight this. And I go all across the country, and the number one thing I get is thank you for fighting for honest elections. We must reform our elections or we won't have a country much longer. So I'm still in the fight, and I have no regrets at all. And I will continue to do that.
So give us some detailed, refresh recollections on what you just mentioned, the signature verification and absentee ballots, any of the other alleged chicanery that happened in Maricopa County. What did you present at the county court level that obviously was dismissed, and now you've appealed, as you were just describing? What sort of evidence were you able to compile to present in terms of election irregularities?
Well, we have a mountain of evidence. You know, the press always says there's no evidence, and you want to bang your head against the wall because it's like I can present the evidence, but I can't force someone to look at it. And we did present the evidence. The evidence comes to us from Maricopa County elections themselves. We got the system log files, which they dragged their feet, didn't want to give us that. We had to sue to get it. And that's basically every keystroke made. And we determined, and this was, by the way, we weren't able to put this into evidence, but we're going to at a later date. We determined that they pre-programmed the tabulators, I'm forgetting the name of it, the tabulators to fail. We've got video evidence showing how they broke the seals on them, took out the memory card, put a new memory card in, tested those machines and saw that they would fail 59% of the time, so basically a dry run, and then they rolled those machines out into Republican areas, and those are the machines that failed 59% of the time on Election Day. And I think that's appalling. 300,000 mail-in ballots had no chain of custody. Every ballot has a chain of custody. They can tell where it originated from and where it came from. 300,000 have no chain of custody. And on Election Day, on a 20-inch piece of ballot paper, they intentionally printed a little bit smaller image, 19 inches, so people wouldn't really detect something was wrong. And then when people went to enter those ballots into the tabulator misread them. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that went on. We're fighting it, and the evidence has never been contested. The judges never said this evidence is false. The way they ruled against us was, well, the election manual procedures are just guidelines. They don't have to be followed. So they've never said that our evidence is false. The evidence comes directly from Maricopa County. They've just found little technicalities to rule on, like, well, election laws are just kind of guidelines and we don't really have to follow them, which I find pretty shocking. Why do we have election laws if we don't have to follow them?
Yeah, and was this statewide, the voting machines that went down, or just in Maricopa County? Because I got to tell you, my mom lives in Pima County in Tucson, and she's been there for 30 years, and even her Democratic friends voted for you. So that was
I don't know.
just...
nobody voted for Katie Hobbs. And this
no,
is
she did a Biden. She campaigned in her basement. She was never out.
We would go to Tucson, which is the most liberal part of Arizona, and we would draw crowds of 1,000 people. Tucsonians who are just living under a socialist mayor who's destroyed that city. It's like a homeless apocalypse there. And everyone voted for us because we had the ideas and the policies to improve Arizona and restore Arizona to its really great days. And so there was all kinds of stuff happening in Pima County. Our lawsuit covers only Maricopa County. Maricopa County has 65% of the state population. If you don't run honest elections, if you rig an election in Maricopa County, you win the whole state. And so we're really taking on just Maricopa County, but we know there were problems in other counties as well, widespread problems, but we're focused in our lawsuit on Maricopa County.
Well, if you're not successful in with your litigation as it pertains to Maricopa County, then what is your optimism level for Republicans to win Arizona? And we're going to need Arizona probably to in 2024 to win the presidency back.
Well, one of we're going to be filing for injunctive relief to prevent the same thing from happening in 24. And so we're working on that. We want protection. We can't trust the people running the elections. We need the courts to step in, and we need oversight so that they can't pull the same stuff. I think going forward, it's going to be harder to cheat the exact same way because, they employed a lot of tactics to cheat, and they're being watched now. I mean, who would have ever thought that the machines would break down on election day when the majority of people were showing up? 75% were voting for me because they don't trust the elections after 2020. So they showed up on election day and they sabotaged election day right in front of our eyes, 4 and 5 and 6 hour lines. And if this would have happened in any Democrat city across the country, there would be protests like you wouldn't believe, and rightfully so. But because this happened in Republican areas, they want us to just act like it's not a problem and deal with it.
Was there? I'm sorry to interrupt, but was there enough personnel? Because this is, something we learned from 2020 is, you got to have to quote Warren Zevon, the lawyers, guns, and money up front, not after the fact. You got to have people in the polling places. You got to have lawyers at the ready. And the Trump campaign didn't have that, certainly in the volume it needed it in these urban centers and swing states. What about with you? Were people on site, ready to go, watching what was happening and documenting it?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you asked that, Dan, because we learned a lot from 2020. I mean, who would have thought you have to be like watching every single move? We had many attorneys, and thankfully we did have poll watchers, poll workers, observers. We had everyone was on the watch and on the lookout. And that's why we have so much evidence. We have video evidence because people were watching what was happening, taking video of the tabulators not working, the long lines, the rejected ballots, people being told to put their rejected ballot in a drawer. Some were even told to put it in a garbage bag and that they would take it downtown and count it. And so we had a lot of that, and we were ready to take affidavits and sworn declarations under the penalty of perjury. So we had a ton of people that were affected, real Arizonans who were affected by this, and we were able to put our case together a little more quickly, and that was helpful because when you challenge an election, you have very limited time to do that.
Now, you tried valiantly to get Katie Hobbs to debate you, and she was very successful in just staying on CNN and in her safe spaces. So you wanted debates. So what do you think of Trump skipping tonight's debate?
Well, somebody asked me that earlier. They said you were making a fit because Katie Hobbs wouldn't debate. And I believe that Trump will debate in the general election. But I did debate in the primary because my opponent and I were closer in the polls. Mm-hmm. I did throw a bit of a fit, when they said they were going to bring all these other opponents and people who were running that nobody had heard of, who were polling at 1% in. I said, this is just a distraction now. Yep. That's just to distract and cause chaos. Let's just have a legitimate debate. But President Trump a debate is kind of a job interview. That's what I always would call it, a job interview. We already know he can do the job. He's held the job before, and he held it with quite a bit of success. I mean, we had hundreds of miles of border wall that he built. He cut taxes. He appointed Supreme Court justices. He unleashed American energy and made us energy independent, defeated ISIS, kept us out of wars. I could go on and on and on. We know he can do the job. And he is so far ahead. I had heard he was 40 points up. I was corrected yesterday in the Real Clear Politics national polling average. I think he's now 54 points ahead. This is an unprecedented lead. He is the incumbent. And this is just, kind of like going to the Little League game when you're Babe Ruth. You just don't do it. We know that he can do the job. I also don't think he should go and give Fox a bunch of ratings points when Fox has made it very clear they are never Trumpers. They're for anybody but Trump. So he's going to give them ratings, have them attacking him, and take part in, eating Thanksgiving dinner at the kids' table.
So, Kira, are you on the short list to be Trump's vice president?
I don't think I am.
A lot of people
I don't
want
know.
you to be.
I've heard that. I haven't had any conversations to that discussion with President Trump, and I do talk to him frequently. I am just, all I'm doing is, as a mom, I want to make sure that we get our country back on track. I don't want to tell my kids I didn't fight for them. And I want to make sure we get the man who's going to help bring things back into control and root out the corruption in D.C., get us back on track. And I believe that man for the job is President Trump.
If you're not running with Trump, I should say, are you planning on running again?
Maybe
the election challenge notwithstanding, running again for statewide office in Arizona?
I'm actually considering it. About 3 or 4 months ago, I had a very powerful person in politics come to my door and try to bribe me out of not running for office. He offered me a job, a big job title, a large salary, a position on a board to sit out the next election. He didn't want me.
Was it Burisma?
No. It was not Joe Biden or Hunter Biden, no.
Okay.
It was, because I don't want to shoot the messenger. He was just delivering the message from really the kind of rhino wing of the party. And if they are so dead set of wanting me to stay off the ballot, there's a part of me that thinks I need to be on the ballot. Yep. And we have an option to pick up a Senate seat. It would be a 3-way race. We have 2 liberals, hardcore liberals running. One of them is Kyrsten Sinema, who's now calling herself an independent to try to help her, win. And even though the people of Arizona know she voted 93% of the time with Joe Biden. And so we have an opportunity to pick up a Senate seat and get a real fighter, an American fighter in there who will fight for the people of Arizona. And I am seriously considering doing that. I'll be making a decision here in the next few months.
All right. Kari Lake, she is a Hawkeye, former television news anchor and former Republican nominee for governor in Arizona, also a surrogate for Trump in this 2024 cycle. At present, Kari Lake, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Car Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There are more than 50 million people enslaved in the world today. Most of them are women and children.
They lock you in cellars or in rooms with no windows. 95% of girls that are born in the brothels remain trapped in the brothels for the rest of their lives.
SOS International is working to make freedom possible for these women and kids. And with your help, today can be the day another victim comes into freedom.
By the hundreds, we are saving those girls and bringing them to a secure place, a place that is a safe home for them to grow in.
Just $150 makes freedom possible for a trafficking victim. It provides shelter, food, counseling, everything they need to start a new life. Make freedom possible now. Visit 560theanswer.com/SOS. Every day that goes by is another day of suffering and abuse. But you can change it now. You can make today the day of freedom and rescue. Learn how you can bring freedom now at 560theanswer.com/SOS. Cable news. Noisy, out of touch, on repeat. Tired of all the lookalikes? So are we. Salem News Channel is here to change the game. Streaming 24/7, free on your TV, with the greatest collection of conservative voices. Home to Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Like you, we say what's wrong and what's right. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Salem News Channel. We're the answer to the mainstream media. Learn more at snc.tv. AM 560, The Answer.
We have a little bit of breaking news. Governor of North Dakota, Doug Burgum, he injured himself playing basketball. He's now in a hospital in Milwaukee, and the debate tonight is in question.
Yeah, if you're 7 years old and you got a presidential debate, don't play basketball the afternoon before it. Or the afternoon on the day of it, I should say. All right, coming up at 8:08, John Adams, CEO, founder of Liberty Cigars, providing the cigars for Cigar Night, which is tomorrow night. We'll have him at 8:08.
Hot today, a high near 99 degrees. It's 8 a.m., WIND, Chicago.
It'll be 8 candidates on stage for the first Republican presidential debate. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Tonight in Milwaukee, hosted by Fox, and Fox's Bill Malugion's there.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're going to take center stage. Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley are going to be standing right next to each other, which is interesting because Haley was attacking Ramaswamy over his foreign policy, saying it's going to make America unsafe if he's elected. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, his campaign tells Fox News they do expect some knives to be out for Governor DeSantis because most of the polls show him in second place behind Donald Trump. They think that's going to put a little bit of a target on his back.
The other candidates there tonight, Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, Asa Hutchinson, Mike Pence, and Tim Scott. No Donald Trump. He's skipping it. India is the first country to land a spacecraft on the far side of the moon in one piece. A lander named Vikram, carrying a rover called Pragyan, touched down a few minutes ago. The mission is to study their surroundings for about one lunar daytime. That's 2 weeks here on Earth. A Russian spacecraft that was supposed to land on the moon's far side Monday crashed on Saturday. Another Indian craft crashed in 2019. India is now the fourth country to soft land anywhere on the moon after the U.S., Russia, and China. Missing people's relatives are asked to provide DNA samples to help identify wildfire victims in Hawaii.
More than 1,000 names are still on the FBI's unconfirmed list of people who are unaccounted for in the wake of wildfires that destroyed Lahaina on Maui. So far, the Family Assistance Center has collected DNA from only 104 families, which has hindered the efforts to identify remains discovered in the ashes. Maui's prosecuting attorney is running the center and is seeking to reassure people that any samples would only be used to help identify fire victims and would not be entered into any law enforcement databases or used for other purposes. Hawaii officials have expressed concern that by releasing a list of the missing, they would also be identifying some people who have died. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
Good morning. It's 80 degrees in Chicago. In the AM 560 The Answer newsroom, I'm Nikki Whaley. The Biden administration is announcing a new income-based student loan repayment plan. Saving on a Value Education, or SAVE for short, plan will allow more borrowers to qualify for $0 monthly payments. Any individual making less than $32,800 a year and any family making less than $67,500 per year will have $0 payments. Temperatures continue to climb in the Chicago area. The National Weather Service says temps could reach the upper 90s today with the heat index somewhere around 110 or more. There will be an excessive heat warning in effect from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. The heat will lead to hazardous conditions, particularly for the elderly and for those with pre-existing health conditions. The city of Chicago's opened a number of cooling centers. You can find out more about it at 311. IBM is selling the Weather Channel and other weather-related holdings to a private equity firm for an undisclosed amount. IBM says it will sell the weather company and its assets to Francisco Partners, and the deal is expected to close by next April. IBM paid $2 billion for the company in 2016 and has reportedly been exploring a sale in an effort to streamline its business. News is a service of Fox Valley Coins. This is a great time to bring in your scrap gold jewelry and sterling flatware, cash or check offered on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes, but now time for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Foot Locker says its sales at existing stores were down more than 9% in its summer quarter. Total sales down nearly 10%, and it lost money in the quarter. Foot Locker is lowering its forecast for the year and is suspending its dividend. Foot Locker President and CEO Mary Dillon says the quarter was broadly in line with expectations. She's encouraged by progress the company's making toward the holiday season, but Foot Locker shares are down 26%. Kohl's is reporting better than expected earnings, though its comparable sales declined in the period. Kohl's shares are up 3%. Kenvue, the maker of Listerine, Tylenol, and Neutrogena, is now a fully independent company. It was separated from Johnson & Johnson. It's expected to join the S&P 500 in trading today. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka explains who we're dealing with.
Yeah, my son came home in a flag-draped casket too. No, he didn't. He died of cancer here in America. You were there at his side in the hospital when he died. What kind of person does that? Only one kind of person. That's who Joe Biden is. Wake up, America.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Freedom Square is an unbelievable service designed to unite freedom-loving Americans. I know these guys. They love their country and they're doing an amazing job. You can log on now to create your free personalized dashboard. All of your favorite news sites, podcasters, all on one site, all at your fingertips. Sign up your business right now at freedomsquare.com and start connecting with freedom-loving Americans. Look, people want businesses they can support. You want to know the good guys from the bad guys. That's freedomsquare.com. Log on right now and create your personalized dashboard. Join us in the fight, so check it out. freedomsquare.com. Freedom lives here.
Let's welcome our new Freedom Square Business Network members. Illinois Sports Medicine, Joe Cotton Ford, Frederick Douglass Foundation, and Mr. Landman. It's time to unite and vote with your dollars. Download the Freedom Square app and register your business right now at freedomsquare.com and start connecting with patriots. Freedom Square. Freedom lives here.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a very, very skeptical person, so I think even if it had started working sooner, I was like, no, it can't be just Balance of Nature. Till I finally gave in and said, you know what? I think it's the Balance of Nature. So somebody will say, oh, I noticed this, or you look really good today, or you know, such and such, and I go, I know, it's the Balance of Nature. I have fingernails that I've never had before. They're long and they're strong and they're wow.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Less money for the exact same thing. Hope this is clear enough. Consumer Cellular, when freedom calls, they're here to answer. Switch today and get a second month of service for free. Go to consumercellular.com/free month and enter promo code free month. Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 gigabyte data plan and unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023. Promotion subject to terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The roadways are stacked any way you put it. The Eisenhower is very, very heavy as you head in. Same thing with the Edens and even 55 Stevenson. That's also very slow. Traffic is a service of Tom Mirabali Insurance, independent Blue Cross Blue Shield agent with access to many major medical carriers. Let Tom help you today save money on your premiums. Get started at healthplanchicago.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow. The high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Visit servpro.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Text message from 847. I was out walking my dog and just saw Sean Thompson's doppelganger driving a Subaru, and I think it was a woman. It was not a woman. That was Sean. He's going to get his hair done in advance. He's got to get that hole in his haircut, spray painted in advance of tonight's debate watching party that we're having out there in Schaumburg.
We get to see Sean. I haven't seen him in a long time.
We have the details on that?
It's sold out. You know what? They just tell me where to go, where to go, what to do, and what to wear. It is
They tell you where to go, but you don't know where you're going. Of course, we're going to Chicago Prime Italian on Meacham Road in Schaumburg.
I was just going to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll pass along the details. So
we should be there between 6:30 and 7.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. In addition to that event tonight, we've got the annual cigar night event, which is always fun. Dennis Prager.
Cars.
Dennis Prager coming to town, Amy Valang, as a nondescript Iowa grad would do.
Okay,
Carrie Lake doesn't know who you are.
When she sees my picture, she will know who I am, because I wasn't sure about her first, and I saw her picture. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that. I have a reel-to-reel in my basement of her and I doing a
first of all,
TV pro.
She should have to see your picture if you're a big shot. Amy Jacobson. Oh, everybody knew Amy Jacobson. Amy Jacobson was the cat's meow, because that's the way you talked back then. You're so old. In Iowa during our time, but she didn't know. The name meant nothing to her.
Oh, so sad. It's all right. I'm telling you, she'll remember when she sees the picture.
All right. So Dennis Prager and me and Sean from Elmwood Park tomorrow night. That's going to be at Klein Creek Golf Club. That's in Winfield.
And that event is sold out. Do we have some standing?
I don't know. I think we still got some tickets. By the way, presented by our friends at Wilkins Mazda and Hyundai in Elmhurst.
You should really know these things.
You go to exactly. I mean, sort of.
No one's in the office anymore. We get no love.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the
Because of
website.
COVID.
It is on the website.
Or then there's
you
that.
go to 560theanswer.com/cigar, and you can. I think there's general admissions tickets left.
Good.
So there you go.
So people that have been emailing me and texting me to go to Cigar Night, just go to Cigar Night.
Yeah, just go.
We'll find
They probably are trying to get you to get them on the list. Use your juice,
Yeah.
but they don't understand you don't have any.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really too soon.
Now they understand that. John Adams is the CEO and founder of Liberty Cigars. Perfect name for a guy who's going to own Liberty Cigars or Liberty anything. He's providing the cigars for tomorrow's Cigar Night at Klein Creek with Dennis Prager, 7:30 p.m. Be there. John Adams joins us now. John, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. I can tell you one thing. Amy's more famous than I am, so she's got that going for her.
Well, you have
Thanks.
a more famous name.
I might even invite it to your event.
Yeah, exactly. She can't come.
Parking cars.
Yeah. So, tell us about the cigar company and the cigars that we'll all be enjoying tomorrow.
Well, we founded our company to honor seminal people in American history. Each of the cigars actually mirrors the personality of the one they were honoring. So George Washington is big and bold like he was, and Madison, who is diminutive in size, 5'3", weighed just over 100 pounds. He gets a smaller cigar, a little milder, and but it's got big flavor like he did.
I like that's kind of an interesting. I'll have a Washington and maybe a Madison as an appetizer.
Yes. You have the Reagan.
And so what's the leaf? Is it Nicaraguan, Honduran?
Here we go.
What do we got?
We make them in the DR and the Dominican Republic,
Okay.
but the tobacco is from all over the world. We have Sumatra, Peru, or Brazil, which is one of my favorites. Nicaragua, of course, Honduran, everywhere. So that's how we get the blends, is that we're able to source leaves from all over the world.
Now, how did you get into the cigar business?
Well, I founded a company years ago called the American History Guild, and its mission is to tell America's magnificent story. And I do it feebly and in a small way, but we do what we can. And one day I was smoking cigars with a buddies of mine, telling them obscure stories about American history that they'd never heard of. And it just struck me that one day that I ought to actually pair the cigars with the people in our history so we could tell those stories. And it works out great because the cigar is roughly an hour to 2 hours to smoke, and so you have plenty of time to sort of unpack somebody's personality and their contribution to America, and it works out great.
Do you have any 6x60s?
Yeah, yeah. Joseph Warren, James Monroe, absolutely.
Oh, give me a couple of Washingtons and a handful of Monroes. I like that. I like that.
Sounds like a 6-hour conversation.
The Taft is sorry about that, Amy. The Taft is a 60 by 60.
Of course.
Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah.
Of course. And you got to smoke that with a watch fob hanging out. Let me. This is the ultimate test. Is it of the refined cigar smoker?
Yes.
Is it true what Kipling wrote that a woman is only a woman, but a good cigar is a smoke?
Well, I would say that in deference to my wife, that the two can be equally true at the same time.
Yeah, you're so weak. You're totally chickened out. Very good. So tell us more about the company, Liberty Cigars. Locations, where you supply your cigars, those sorts of things.
Well, we've been in business for almost 10 years now, and next year will be our 10th year. We are exclusively online, and we do events such as the one tomorrow night. And we make our cigars for the White House. It doesn't matter who's president. We've been doing it for a long time now. We make them for various entities, some of which are top secret. But we are about ready to open up a shop. It's actually under construction now. We just got our land disturbance permit, so it'll be a 4,000-foot lounge called the Liberty Lounge, of course.
In what town?
Is that going to be in Chicagoland or?
No, it's going to be in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably a better place.
My safer place.
Yeah.
So let me get this right. Did I hear you correctly? You send cigars to the White House?
Well, we do it for the White House Historical Association, and every year they ask us to do a new cigar or two. And in most years, we've mirrored the White House Christmas ornament, and we do a companion cigar to go with that. So
Did you make the cigar that found its way into Monica Lewinsky?
Oh
no! Is that
my
too soon?
God.
What?
Some of us like to forget about those details.
I mean, come on. It's part of history. It's part
All
of
right,
American
no,
history.
okay, that's
I'd love
fair
to hear
enough.
that
Were you
story.
sending cigars to the
Yeah.
White House in the 90s?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we did not do that. We were we do make a presidential cigar, but we do not subscribe to that particular profile.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like you
all
don't
right.
have the Bill Clinton.
Well,
Okay.
just yes. No, but that's great that you're building this place in Atlanta. I mean, these cigar lounges are, they're pretty popular these days, and in places where there's a good deal of refined cigar smokers, they do very well. So
Looking at your
that's
website makes
exciting.
me want to smoke a cigar. Do you have a lot of female clients?
We do. About 40% of our customers are female.
Really?
Some of which smoke them themselves, and others are obviously buying for their husbands, wives, and fathers and brothers. But it's astounding how many cigar smokers that we have that are female. We're putting out a Catherine the Great cigar pretty soon. So, and I've got a new series coming out, the Black Soldiers of the Red War, and there's a couple of really wonderful women that from Boston, in fact, that are worthy of a cigar.
It's funny because this question came up. So you're obviously a cigar aficionado. This question came up with a friend the other day. Like, when did I start smoking cigars?
Yeah, when?
I started smoking in high school.
Cigars?
Yeah,
did you give up your pipe for the cigar?
I
your
was ahead of my
ascot?
time. I did smoke a pipe though too.
Oh my God!
I was ahead of my time. But so they were mild cigars, but I didn't smoke as many as I do today. Now that I'm circling the drain. But what about you, John? When did you get the cigar bug?
Well, I grew up, spent my summers on a farm in South Georgia, growing tobacco. So I started fairly young, but we did do premium cigars, which is a difference. The little cigars that you would typically see in grocery stores and gas stations, they're not particularly good for you. But premium cigars are perfectly fine. We obviously, if you look at the great cigar smokers, George Burns lived to be 102. Herbert Hoover smoked about 20 a day in the White House, and he lived to be 90. Churchill, 90.
Key to longevity. That's what I say.
Well, but you don't inhale, right? You
don't inhale. That's the difference. And the tobacco is fermented and doesn't have any additives in it. So it makes a huge difference that way.
That's why we're going to be partying with Liberty Cigars tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Dennis Prager, a cigar aficionado too, as everyone knows. John Adams is the CEO, founder of Liberty Cigars. They are the cigar provider for Cigar Night tomorrow night at Klein Creek. Again, 560theanswer.com/cigar for general admission tickets. Starts at 7:30. Also, more about Liberty Cigars, libertycigars.com. libertycigars.com. That's John
great
Adams'
website.
company.
Yep.
John Adams, Liberty Cigars. John, thanks so much for joining us and for providing the cigars. Great to talk to you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It took a panicked run on a major bank to lead to the second biggest bank failure in U.S. history. And Moody's just downgraded the entire U.S. banking system from stable to negative. Just a reminder why many people diversify their portfolios with something tangible, something that doesn't need bailing out, something that can't vanish into thin air. Learn the truth in Swiss America's shocking report, The Secret War on Cash. This all-out war against cash is a war against the Constitution, against all freedom-loving Americans. You must read The Secret War on Cash. Get your free copy by calling or texting 800-630-1495. That's 800-630-1495. This all-out war on cash, digital forms of currency too, is growing daily. So please get and read The Secret War on Cash, free to Salem listeners by calling or texting now at 800-630-1495. Make sure you mention Salem when you call or text 800-630-1495.
Text from Sean in Elmwood Park, actually. Of course, he would know this. Yes. The Monica Lewinsky cigar was actually a Hoya de Monterrey #1. That's a good cigar.
Well, only the finest for...
Not for that purpose, but it's a good smoke.
Another text message. Catherine the Great cigar. Is it a D size?
Yeah, I was going to go there. I was going to go there, but I thought I had already maybe crossed the line with Monica Lewinsky, so I didn't want to do Catherine the Great as well. Anyway, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework. Go to provider you can trust like I do. My friends at Low T Center, where I get my levels checked, have for the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain, and loss of muscle mass, these all could be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center, not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They respect your time. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment as well, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month, so there's no need to drive to the center for weekly visits. And right now, Low T Center is only $25 to get your T-level tested with results back in about 25 minutes. So what are you waiting for? Log on to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a very, very skeptical person, so I think even if it had started working sooner, I was like, no, it can't be just balance of nature. Till I finally gave in and said, you know what? I think it's the balance of nature. So somebody will say, oh, I noticed this, or you look really good today, or you know, such and such, and I go, I know it's the balance of nature. I have fingernails that I've never had before. They're long and they're strong and they're wow.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Chicago.
Did you know that St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard is the only school in the entire state of Illinois offering the renowned Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum? If you're a parent in Lombard, Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Downers Grove, or the surrounding areas, and you're searching for an exceptional educational experience for your child, look no further than St. John's Lutheran K-8 school, where academic excellence meets strong Christian values. St. John's partnership with Hillsdale College ensures your child receives a rigorous K-8 academic experience. What sets St. John's apart is that they recognize the concerns many parents have about the radical woke agenda infiltrating public schools, and they want your kids to succeed. That's why they're dedicated to providing a nurturing environment that promotes the Christian faith, traditional values, and critical thinking. The Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum, combined with their focus on Christian faith and character development, is a game changer for your child's education. Learn more at stjohnslombard.com. That's the letters ST. johnslombard.com. Give your child or grandchild the gift of a faith-based Hillsdale College K-8 curriculum-based education. Visit St. John's Lombard. That's stjohnslombard.com.
When life ends, your legacy begins. Ensure your legacy lives on at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, with 47 locations throughout Cook and Lake counties. Take advantage of 0% financing, lock in today's prices, and safeguard yourself against rising inflation. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
All right. In between storms is the best time to call our friends at Permaseal. Why? Well, that's their downtime when they're fixing things that are broken. And if you have structural foundation problems, now's the time to do it, because guess what? Those problems are only going to get worse as time progresses. For over 41 years, Permaseal has been Chicagoland's and Northwest Indiana's most trusted contractor for basement and foundation repairs. They've earned an A-plus rating from the BBB, Better Business Bureau, and have a 4.9-star Google rating. For a free, thorough inspection, call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or online at permaseal.net.
Hi, folks. Sebastian Gorka here. Are you worried about investing in the stock market, especially with Joe Biden in office? Do you really trust this economy? What if you could invest in a secure, collateralized portfolio with a high fixed rate of return that's not correlated to the stock market or the Fed? A portfolio where you'll know what each monthly statement will look like with no surprises. Your interest is compounded daily. You're paid monthly, and there are no fees. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. And get this, there is absolutely no loss of principal if you ever need your money back. Just go to InvestYRefi. That's invest, the letter Y, then refi.com, or call 888-YRefi24. You can earn a fixed rate of return of up to 10.25%. Just call 888-YRefi. Refi 24 or go to investyrefi.com and tell them Dr. G sent you.
In theaters Friday.
I'm one of the best hitters you're ever going to see.
The true inspirational story about family and faith. Briarcliff Entertainment's The Hill.
They said he will never walk, and he ran. How many miracles do you need?
Starring Dennis Quaid.
You can't play baseball. God's going to give you a higher calling.
You seen this? Major League Trials.
You're going to paralyze him. It's all stacked against me.
The Hill.
I cannot do this alone.
Rated PG. In theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
Life is complicated enough without having to worry about your financial concerns when you retire. In a perfect world, your retirement funds would just be there when you reach retirement age.
But it's not a perfect world, and you really need to look ahead and be proactive to manage the dollars you've earned.
The team at Wealth Management Group can help. Uncomplicate your financial future and talk to the team at Wealth Management Group today.
Call 833-WMG-PLAN. That's 833-WMG-PLAN or investwithWMG.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
AM 560.
The
Answer. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:38, we'll talk econ with Steve Moore, economist and GovZilla author, and what he'd like to hear from the Republican candidates on the debate stage tonight about matters economic. That's 8:38.
Yeah, how can they make the economy better for all of us? But now let's head into the newsroom. Nikki Whaley in for Mike Scott.
Good morning. It's 80 degrees in Chicago in the AM 560 The Answer newsroom. I'm Nikki Whaley. Wisconsin Republicans are expressing their disappointment in Donald Trump's decision to skip tonight's debate in Milwaukee. A panel of GOP voters told Fox News on Tuesday that not taking part in the debate is a missed opportunity for Trump, and they'll be looking for one of the candidates who showed up to emerge as someone who can challenge the former president for the Republican nomination. The Illinois Secretary of State is awarded Metro East Auto Theft Task Force with a $2.4 million grant. The funds will be used to combat carjackings and vehicle thefts. With the help of funding from the state, the task force has recovered 547 stolen vehicles, valued at over $800 million in a 12-month period. News is brought to you by the Pride Stores, with 17 locations throughout Chicagoland that include Taco Urbano or Urban Counter restaurants. Stop by their newest location, the Pride of Kane County in St. Charles on the corner of Kirk and Main. The Pride Stores, not your typical convenience store. A check of the roads coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Brandon Tatum sees work ahead for Trump.
MAGA people are going to vote for Trump no matter what. But for other people that's on the fence, in the middle, vacillating, in the general, is when you're going to see a huge effect. If Donald Trump is able to prove his innocence early on, or it appears that he's going to be innocent early on, I think that's going to be a tremendous boost for him.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
When this is the sound of a crackling campfire on a cool evening, you can sit back and relax. But when it's the sound of your counters and cabinets smoking and smoldering following a house fire that's affected your entire kitchen, you need to pick up the phone and call 1-800-SERVPRO. Only the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro can help make fire and water damage like it never even happened. So make the call to 1-800-SERVPRO when fire damage strikes. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Test Director Rick from ServPro, the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. It's my job to make sure our pros are prepared for anything. Storm damage? Fixed. Flood damage? We're on it. Fire damage? Not anymore. Aliens? What? Aliens? We cleaned those sites a while ago. No matter the disaster, our pros will make it like it never even happened. Find out why ServPro is the #1 choice for residential and commercial restoration projects large and small. Visit servpro.com today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba, Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Accident is working on the Eisenhower eastbound before Independence Boulevard. It's going to be pushed off to the shoulder, but very, very heavy delays. An accident on the Stevenson northbound before Damon Avenue. It's off on the right shoulder, but this involves 2 tractor trailers. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster sells custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Mostly sunny skies today. We do have an excessive heat warning in effect through Thursday. It'll be hot, breezy, and humid. The high today 99. Clear, very warm night tonight, low 79. And then partly sunny. It'll be a hot, humid day tomorrow, a high 101. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
All right, the Naperville JC's Last Fling is back from September 1st through September 4th. Enjoy the last of summer in downtown Naperville with carnival rides, live music, and food vendors. Admission is free. For more information, check out lastfling.org.
Maybe they can get Oliver Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
They got him, I'd go. Dan Clifton is a investment advisor. He writes in Strategist to his clients, quote, "At near full employment, the budget deficit should be much lower than it is today. A slight increase in unemployment and deficits can balloon quite quickly on top of the interest costs. Ultimately, Congress will need to act on entitlements like it did in 1983, the last time net interest costs surged." The net interest costs he's talking about, 14% of tax revenue in July. That's what they hit, the level we consider the inflection point for fiscal policy. And not surprisingly, the bond market has reacted. Problem is, as Judy Shelton writes about in the Wall Street Journal. The problem is the latest budget numbers show an increase in government outlays of 10% so far this year, even as revenues have fallen by 10%. The federal government doesn't mind being inflated out of debt. And she writes, it's clear where this is going. When government is unconstrained by budgetary discipline and monetary policymakers punish the private sector with high interest rates to rectify the errors of fiscal policy, democratic capitalism can't last long. So that's precisely what's at stake, small d democratic capitalism. For more on this, pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, economist, GovZilla author. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, guys. By the way, the federal government can't really inflate its way out of this debt crisis. I mean, that's actually one of the lessons we're learning, because, when you have inflation, that does reduce the real value of the debt, the real burden of the debt. But at the same time, as you raise inflation rates, as we've learned from Biden, that's what happens to interest rates. Those go up as well. So it's a losing game to try to depreciate your currency as a way of paying off the debt.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not saying it's good policy. I'm saying
we're screwed either way.
that's the policy of the modern monetary theorists in charge, and the point that Judy Shelton makes in connecting the dots is you unrestrained government with Fed mystics stepping in to try to deal with the unrestrained government. Well, it's hard to have anything resembling a market economy.
That's right. Well, look, I have a kind of very simple-minded, simple, I don't know if it's simple-minded solution to this. Hey, why don't we cut government spending?
Yeah, well,
where would they start? What would you start with, Stephen Moore?
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to the debate today in Milwaukee. I don't know if either of you are driving up for that, but I want to see what these candidates say. But we could get rid of 4 or 5 cabinet departments. We don't need a Department of Energy. We don't need a Department of Education. We don't need a Commerce Department. We don't need a Labor Department. You could save money on those things. You could
chump change. Chump change. What about entitlements? Nobody. What happened to Republicans being willing to speak about entitlements?
Well, I'm very much in favor of work requirements for every welfare program. The problem with Social Security, I don't like these ideas that we have to cut Social Security benefits. I mean, Social Security is a ripoff. If you had a private account, you'd be earning 10 times more money from the account.
But no Republican is taking the George W. Bush toe in the water approach on turning Social Security into private IRAs.
What I'm saying, Dan, is what I'm saying is that cutting Social Security benefits is unfair to the people who paid in.
I agree, but I mean, but nobody's saying anything about entitlements in the Republican Party.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That's true. Now, on health care, I mean, let's just have medical savings accounts for people and give people an incentive to save on their money. I'm not a health care expert, but the main thing is, if you get back to 3% growth, we had a chart in our hotline the other day. You might have seen, because of the compounding effects of higher economic growth, the debt burden is not going to rise. It's going to fall over time, even with existing spending. So you have to get the economy moving at a much more rapid pace, and we can do that.
Well, do you think any of the candidates tonight are going to stand out with some economic plan that's going to save our souls?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I'm very curious to what these, ladies and gentlemen will say. I think, how many? 9? How many are there?
8.
Either 8, 9?
8, yeah.
If Bergen can make it, because
he just got injured playing basketball, and he's at a Milwaukee hospital.
Yeah.
The governor of North Dakota.
That?
The governor of North Dakota,
He
Doug
is?
Burgum.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's what CNN's reporting.
Yeah.
They said it's debatable
debate?
whether or not he'll make the debate.
Oh, my God, because he's one of my favorites, actually. Most people don't even know who Doug Burgum is, but he's actually one of us.
He's a billionaire entrepreneur who built $1 billion business.
Yeah. He actually knows how to build a business, and he's, wants to cut have a flat tax. He wants to, cut government spending. He wants to run the government much more like a business. What a concept. So, look, I think the stakes are really high for Ron DeSantis, who's had a terrible, terrible 3 months. Whether he can, but I wouldn't be surprised if Trump doesn't. Remember what he did in Iowa, where he flew his plane over the Iowa State Fair when DeSantis was speaking. Maybe he'll fly his plane over the convention center in the middle of the debate. But it's going to be an awkward thing because the 800-pound gorilla, literally and figuratively, isn't going to be there.
Well, I mean, I should ask actually a predicate question. You, Kudlow, and Laffer have done this meet with the candidates before in previous election cycles to have a back and forth about economic matters. Are you doing that this time?
Yeah, we have, and we've had. You're going to love this. We've had. We're going to have one with Trump, and the first one we had was about 3 weeks ago with. I keep calling him Vivek, but I think it's pronounced Vivek Ramaswamy. And he, by the way, he blew people away. He was awesome. I mean, he is so impressive when you meet him in person. In some of the polls, he's in the second and third place now.
Yeah.
And so, but you know who we're having dinner with next Monday night? And Dan or Amy, if you want to fly up to New York for it, we'd love to have you. RFK Jr.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And people should watch, by the way, if you're interested in politics and you want to know more about RFK Jr., watch his interview with Tucker Carlson. Have you got either of you watched?
Yeah,
I did.
When you fly up to meet him, he's going to scold you for flying and not riding a bike to meet him.
Well,
Just
you
be
should watch
prepared.
it. He is quite impressive. I mean, the guy, look, he's crazy on some things, and about 30% of the time he's right, and that puts him way ahead of almost every other Democrat to be right 30% of the time.
Yeah, well, fair enough. No, go back to the Republican side. So you met with Ramos.
We're going to have Cornel West too. We're going to have Cornel West.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh, if you're
Green
buying, I'm
candidate.
flying.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay, you got it. Okay, Amy.
What?
We're gonna get you a first class ticket.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
roll.
are these meetings to provide advice and counsel, or just an exchange of views?
Both.
Okay, so what was?
We have Larry and I and Steve Forbes and Laffer. Sit down with the candidate for an hour and try to straighten them out, and then they present their views to us, and we to a group of about 40 people, and we really have a back and forth exchange. And sometimes they perform very well, sometimes they bomb. I remember the first dinner we ever had was with Scott Walker, who's of course the former governor of Wisconsin, who I love and adore. I think he's a great man.
Yeah.
But he really, at that time, people forget, this time 8 years ago, Scott Walker was the front runner in the presidential nomination process for the Republicans, and he kind of bombed out and was the first one out of the field. So we'll see. But I want to see what I really want to see if any of these people kind of emerge as a star. Right now, it looks like Trump and the Seven Dwarfs. So
well, what about on matters economic? Since the central to the DeSantis record in Florida is it being a magnet for residents and wealth, and thus the growth. So what would your advice and counsel to DeSantis be tonight?
I think he has to what he's been doing for the last 9 months is talking about the Florida record, which is, fantastic. I mean, you may have seen that California and Texas have imported $1 trillion of wealth from Illinois, California, and New York in the last several years. That's amazing how much wealth and jobs and income is flowing out of the blue states into these red states. So he does a good job of talking about his record in Florida. What he's not doing, and this is the problem that Scott Walker had, is he's not talking about his vision for America. Okay, you've been a great governor. What are you going to do for the United States? So I think he's got to lay out a real concrete plan of action on, as you said, entitlement reform, tax reform, border, all of these issues that are front and center. What are you going to do to cut inflation? What are you going to do to bring down mortgage interest rates?
What do you on Ramaswamy, since he's the one that sort of occupied at least part of the lane that DeSantis was supposed to occupy?
Yeah.
What was so impressive about him to you, meeting him in person?
Well, he's very charismatic. And look, I don't say that in any negative way. I mean, he's a very charming person. He's a very good speaker. He's likable. And so he just comes across as being a knowledgeable, thoughtful, free market oriented guy. And then he has really great ideas. Like, for one, Amy, okay, you're going to be my focus group this morning. He has this idea that if you're between the ages of 18 and 21, to vote, you should have to pass a citizenship test. You should have to know something about your country. If we require immigrants to know something about our country to become a citizen, shouldn't young people know that kind of stuff before they vote?
Right. Well, I think they should know that before they graduate high school or in order to graduate from high school.
I agree with you entirely. So, he's putting out these really kind of cool ideas that are driving the left crazy. But I think there's a lot of wisdom to these things. And so we'll see how I think he may emerge as the kind of alternative to Trump in this race. Although Trump is still at 50%, and the rest of the field is dividing the other 50%, amongst themselves. But
do you think some of the scuttlebutt about Ramaswamy's business career, critical of it, I'm starting to hear more of is fair? They're sort of accusing him of making his money in a pump and dump operation in pharma, which I don't think actually is fair, but that's what's being bandied about as he's getting some traction.
Dan, I don't know much about his business background, so I can't say, whether these allegations are true or not. What is happening now, I don't know if you've noticed this in the last week or so, because his numbers are rising, the media is now really inspecting. And so there was a report out the other day, something that really bothered me, that he supports a 60% inheritance tax.
That would bother me too. Yeah, I didn't even see that. But there's definitely a more of a kicking of the tires that's required of Ramaswamy. There definitely is. When you had your sit down with him, was there any particular economic proposal or position that you thought, like, this is a guy we know we can trust to be a proponent of free markets?
Well, I wish you had been there, Dan, because he's talking about what you were just talking about earlier on the show, which is taking a chainsaw out of the budget and really, doing the free market healthcare reforms. He wants to, eliminate cabinet agencies. He wants to reduce the federal bureaucracy. I think of all the candidates, he's the one who has been, the most ambitious in terms of really cutting. Look, our government today in America consumes 35 to 40% of our GDP. We have to get that number down to 25%. And so that means we have to cut 10% of GDP out of government because it's just consuming our economy. It's the reason the economy has been so bad. So if we don't do that, we're not going to be a free market country anymore.
On Trump, I mean, since we're talking about matters economic, here's one. One of the issues with Trump is his love affair with mercantilism in the form of tariffs. And he said the other day on Fox, I think when companies come in and they dump their products in the United States, they should pay automatically, let's say, a 10% tax. So now he's talking about not targeted tariffs, but universal tariffs.
Yeah. Well, by the way, universal tariffs are a much better policy than targeted tariffs because
fair
you
enough,
don't. What I object to is trade protectionist policies for one industry. What Larry and I have been talking to Trump about is, okay, if you're going to put a 10% tax on everything that comes into the United States, then you should cut tax on our domestic company. In other words, don't make it a tax increase. Just shift the burden. And this makes sense to me, Dan. And I know, you're a free trader. I am. You may cringe when I say this. But why don't we put a 10% tax on everything that comes in and then reduce our corporate tax rate here on American companies? In other words, a tax code that puts America first, because every other country in the world has a value-added tax. So as soon as we export something to Mexico or Europe, they slap it with a 15% tax. So this would be a kind of parity type of policy that would actually encourage more job production and manufacturing here in the United States. I don't know, Amy, you can be the judge of that.
If she's considering that. Something else was something else on tax policy. everybody's going to say I supported the Trump tax cuts. They're expiring in 25, so the next president matters. But is just re-upping the Trump tax cuts enough? It seems to me this would be an opportunity for somebody to separate themselves. Say the Trump tax cuts accomplished something, but when the sunset is near, here's what we should propose in terms of real comprehensive tax burden reductions that were not achieved with the Trump tax cuts.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you, Dan. I mean, look, Larry and I and some others really helped put that tax plan together for Trump, but it was just really a halfway measure at best to get where we want to be. And one of the things in addition to cutting the burden, you've got to simplify the tax system. The system is completely unintelligible. I mean, it's incomprehensible, this tax system. We wouldn't have to hire 87,000 new IRS agents if we had something that was really a simple, fair, easy to comply with and understand.
Not even somebody as smart as Hunter Biden can figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I said yesterday on Fox, I said, well, Biden doesn't have any business, background, but of course he does. Now we realize he does have a business background because of his partners with Hunter and all this operation. And that was a pretty good business too, wasn't it?
Well, it seemed to be. Yeah,
made a lot of money.
It was pretty good until it wasn't. Steve Moore, economist, Govzilla author. Enjoy the debate tonight, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, see you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Nick Philippus, co-owner of Joe Donut and a proud customer of Signature Bank. We're a locally owned artisan donut shop that focuses on chef-made small batch and craft donuts. We have 7 locations around the Chicagoland suburbs, with an 8th location coming soon. After opening our original stores in Glenview and Niles, we came to Signature Bank for financing for our new Mount Prospect location. From PPP and material delays in construction, Signature Bank was flexible and truly a banking partner that a small business like ours hadn't experienced before. Even their fraud department was able to stop a $30,000 fraudulent check from clearing our account. That allowed us to focus on selling donuts, knowing Signature Bank had our back.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. A lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider you can trust. I trust my friends at Low T Center, where I've gotten my levels checked the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center is not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment, including physician-monitored self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month, so there's no need to drive to the center for weekly visits. And right now, Low T Center is only $25 to get your T-level tested, with results back in about 25 minutes. So what are you waiting for? Log on now to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Proft sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-950-0099. 800-950-0099. That's 800-950-0099.
You know, when you give your body the best possible fuel, you have more energy, you're stronger, you think more quickly. And the best fuel for your body is nature's gift, balance of nature, the fruits and vegetables that we can get 31 different whole fruits and veggies inside these capsules. Real food, real science, real nutrition. People who take it swear by it. They're addicted because they have increased energy, the ability to keep doing the things they love even as they age. So be proactive, get your health back, and get the nutrition that your body needs because you know you're not getting enough fruits and veggies on your own. And that's where Balance of Nature comes in. The number to call, 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go online to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. The depth of corruption in the investigation of Hunter Biden got exposed this week by an unlikely media source, the New York Times. A damning report corroborated by Politico confirms Republican suspicions that David Weiss attempted to run out the clock on tax evasion charges and let Hunter Biden off scot-free. In fact, the plea deal announced in June fell apart in part because IRS whistleblowers forced Weiss to change position and require Hunter to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges. Until the IRS agents went public with Weiss's obstruction, the U.S. attorney had already arranged to cover all of the issues in a diversion agreement, not just the firearms charge, and to give Hunter immunity for all other charges as well. This makes clear that Attorney General Merrick Garland presides over a corrupt and politicized Department of Justice. Appointing Weiss as special counsel after his failed attempt to bury the scandal in a diversion agreement confirms it. And it's so obvious that even the New York Times has to cover it. I'm Ed Morrissey.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Are high interest rates scaring you off from purchasing a home? There aren't a lot of houses for sale, so don't look for the housing market to crash, which means please don't put your home buying dreams on hold, waiting for lower interest rates, which may never come. You only live once. Remember, none of Townstone's home mortgages have a prepayment penalty, so if interest rates decrease, you can refinance with a low closing cost refinance at any time. If you're starting a new home purchase, Townstone is the only place to contact because we not only help borrowers with great credit and a large down payment to streamline their home purchases and quickly close, but we're also experts in helping borrowers with the so-called difficult loans. First-time home buyer or self-employed, we have a special program for you too. Need cash but don't want to lose your 3% low interest rate? We can do a cash-out home equity line to pay off your high-interest credit card bills while keeping your low first mortgage rate. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
Sad story. Sam Bankman-Fried is unable to prepare for his upcoming trial because he's not getting his ADHD medication in the Brooklyn jail. And they're also apparently refusing to serve him vegan meals. This is his lawyer lamenting the harsh treatment Sam Bankman-Fried is suffering, which brings me to a great joke this kid told on an Australian morning show. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
A vegan and a vegetarian are jumping off a cliff to see who will hit the bottom first. Who wins?
I don't know.
Who wins?
Society.
Oh my!
Pretty good. They seem to like it. You heard it, right?
Yeah.
Vegan and a vegetarian jump off a cliff, see who's the bottom first. Who wins?
Society. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe just substitute for the vegan. Sam Bankman-Fried and a vegetarian jump off a cliff, see who reaches the bottom first. Who wins? There.
All right. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, who is our technical producer. And don't you dare forget Quinn McCarthy, who's our executive producer. And I'm hearing a little scuttlebutt that Mike Scott, who cracked 3 ribs in a Tougher Mudder competition or something, might be back tomorrow. So we're hoping for that. And of course, stay with us tomorrow as we break down the debate. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
The stage is set in